the postseason with a great performance.
Gwynn and Chris are ready to go.
2-2 pitch, hit in the air to deep left field. Green is going back on the move, at the wall, leaps up, it's going to go. A two-run homer for Elias Diaz, his first of the year. And the Padres take a 2-0 lead here in the second.
Yes, if you paid any attention to today's ball game, you know that highlight was not from today's ball game. That was the only highlight of yesterday's ball game. But fortunately for the Padres, that's the only one they needed to get at least a game in Detroit. Welcome to Gwynn and Chris, everybody. A full 4 hours together on San Diego's #1 sports talk station, 97.3 The Fan. Chris Ello, Matt Scraby, together in our Odyssey Palace studios. Tony Gwynn Jr. on his way back to San Diego with the ball club from Detroit. And I guess you could say that the Padres are limping home in more ways than one. You've got all the injured players that you have to file their way onto the airplane.
Yes, they board first.
Although Jackson Merrill and Brandon Lockridge are already here,
yes,
so they don't have to travel. But yes, I mean, it's the MASH unit. And, look, when you're sending out a lineup that a third of your lineup started the season in the minor leagues, when you're starting a lineup for the second consecutive day, I didn't even know this is possible 5 weeks into a season. But for the second consecutive day, the Padres started a lineup where their number 4 hitter, number 5 hitter, number 6 hitter, and to speed things up, their number 7, 8, and 9 hitters, those 6 players had combined going into the game today with no home runs. None. Yesterday was the same thing. But Elias Diaz changed that with his first home run of the year, but he wasn't in the lineup today. I don't know too many teams that have the second best record in baseball when their cleanup hitter has no home runs. Unless their number 5 and 6 hitters are powering the ball over the fence. But the Padres' 5 and 6 hitters are both basically been minor leaguers all year that are trying to find their way in the big leagues. This is what happens. I understand that you've got to deal with the injuries. Every team does. But when we say that you're going to be up against it, this is what happens. Tirso Ornelas, finally squared one up in his last at bat. And, unfortunately for him, Javi Baez, who's only played center field 3 games in his entire life,
makes an incredible catch.
Looks like Willie Mays going back there to grab that ball. But, you've got guys that have been in the minor leagues all year. They're seeing pitches they haven't seen. Connor Joe hasn't seen curveballs like the ones he's seeing now, and he's missing them by a foot. So, look, you've got minor league guys trying to keep you afloat. And thankfully, it's not as bad as it could be. Look, the Padres only scored 15 runs on this road trip. They had 2 or fewer runs in half the games. But they still got 2 wins out of it. Thanks to who? Fernando winning the 1 game on Sunday in Houston and Nick Pivetta winning the game last night. So to me, even though I'm certainly disappointed, I no longer have the best record in the big leagues. The Mets now have that, thanks to the worst pitcher in baseball, by the way, this season, Jordan Romano.
I felt bad
Phillies.
for him when he was walking off the mound.
This guy has been he was signed by the Phillies to be a shutdown, lockdown closer.
Which he has been in the past.
He has been his whole career. He now couldn't get you or I out.
No.
And they brought him in with a lead in the bottom of the 10th inning today. What are they thinking?
They didn't have pitching.
Whatever. Bring a position player in. I mean, he can't get anyone out. He gives up a double and a single. Mets score 2, win the game. So anyway, the Mets have the best record for the moment. Padres are a half game up on the Dodgers for the moment. Dodgers play the Cubs later. But this could be way worse when you consider the injuries that they have. It's not an excuse. It's a fact. It just flat out is a fact. You can't compete at the big league level without big league players. So ask the Rockies. They try to do it every night, and they can't compete. I mean, they maybe have two legit major leaguers, Brenton Doyle and Ezekiel Tovar. Ryan McMahon used to be one. I don't know if he is anymore.
Struck out a lot.
Right. But my point, you're sending basic borderline minor leaguers out there night after night. You're getting your brains bashed in. The Padres are not getting their brains bashed in. They're hanging in there because they're pitching. And then they stole a couple games. This could have been an 0-6 road trip very easily, considering all of the guys that were out of the lineup. So, you take what you can get. And you were able to sneak a win yesterday. Pivetta was incredible. Look, here's the deal with Nick Pivetta. Every team in baseball, and I mean every team, had a chance and then some to sign this guy to a free agent contract. Every team in baseball passed on him. And the Padres finally said, okay, we haven't made a move yet. We'll take him, and we probably get him at a little bit of a reduced rate because it's now getting late in the game. He needs a job. Well, the guy right now is the best free agent signing of any player in baseball.
He's making what, like $1 million or something?
I think more than that. Well, I don't know.
He's
it out.
He's got a really, really interesting contract that makes it very friendly.
I think it goes up after a while.
It does.
You're good at contracts, so look that up. But
he's making $2.5 million.
Okay,
base payroll this year,
and he's pitching like a $12.5 million pitcher.
Exactly.
And so, it just goes to show you don't ever know, and teams think they know, and they lavish money on Jordan Romano, and they lavish money on guys like this.
Juan Soto.
Soto made a good throw today. I'll give him that.
He did.
Cut down a potential winning run at the plate. So I'm going to give Soto that. And look, we can make fun of him at our own peril. Because eventually he's going to start, crushing somebody.
Mets fans are feeling what Padres fans felt when Juan Soto was here. Because he started slow with the Padres in his full season.
He'll get going.
Yeah,
he's too good not to. But, guys get signed for $20 million, $30 million, $40 million. A.J. Preller, for once in his career, and maybe it was ordained by the front office, mix-ups and things that were going on, maybe it's just a change in strategy. But he let all those big guys go, and we criticized the hell out of him. Well, he's getting the last laugh right now because he's got the best free agent in baseball, Pivetta. I mean, 1.20 ERA through 5 starts. That's the best by any Padre ever.
Wow, I didn't know ever.
Ever. Joe Musgrove had been, I think, 1.25. So, look, Pivetta wins the game last night. You get a one shot from Diaz. That's the second extra base hit he's had all year. So these are the kind of little things to me that signal the fact you're actually probably going to be on your way to a good season. When you win a game like that, where Diaz wins the game with, one shot, Pivetta does it. And they also probably don't win that game 2-0 if it isn't for Mason McCoy
coming out of nowhere,
looking over there like Jackie Robinson at second base.
So far, we've got a Willie Mays and a Jackie Robinson.
McCoy made one catch early in the game in foul territory to take the bat out of Torkelson's hands, which is a good guy to take the bat out of. And then in the 8th inning, you've got a man on base. You've got Carpenter, who is a slugger for Detroit, left-handed hitter. He can tie the game with one swing, even against Jason Adam. He can do it. He's got 5 bombs already. And McCoy runs over there next to the railing and the screen, makes a sensational catch to take him, take the bat out of his hands. Then the next guy hits a line shot up the middle, and he dives and grabs that. These are the kind of contributions you love to see for a team that is going to have a great year.
Yeah,
and
I'm with you.
And so, today I'm going to, it's their first time shut out this year. They didn't play great. I thought Kyle Hart pitched okay. He made 2 horrible pitches. And if you look at the replays, it's the same thing he did in the loss to Houston the other night. You can't, that box that's there on the screen?
The strike zone box?
Strike zone box. You can't put a ball right in the middle of that. Big league hitters will hit it out of the ballpark. And the 2 pitches that were hit out today were both right smack dab in the middle. And he did that to Cam Smith last week. So, look, I give him credit for keeping the team in the game. For once, the bullpen was a little leaky. They gave up 4 runs today. The bullpen's ERA ballooned, I think, to 1.73. So I'll still take that.
Can't believe them.
Yeah, I'll still take that. And to try to put it in final perspective, a 17-8 record through 25 games means you're on pace for 102 wins, and you'd still have 2 games remaining at the end. I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
I'll be okay with that if they can keep it up. But
even I'm not panicking after today, Chris.
Very good, Scrape. Very good.
They faced Jack Flaherty last night. Like you said, Diaz was the difference. 1 pitch decided that game last night, basically.
It's the only hit they got the entire last 2 days.
The Tigers are going to be a playoff team. They look good. They have the young players. Like the pitcher today, Olsen, he hasn't been great so far this year, but he hasn't been terrible. I mean, they're running into good pitchers.
He shut him down.
And I hate that excuse. I hate that excuse of they're running into good pitchers, but the truth.
They're running into some good pitchers, but
good pitching,
but they don't have their team. They
exactly
just don't have their team.
The offense is nothing like it was to start the year.
Well, it can't be. You've got half the lineup on the injured list. So it is what it is. I think you give them not a pass. You never give them a pass. You got to win. You got to go out to win with what you got. But the disappointment is not as heightened as it normally would be because you're doing what you can with what you've got. You hope that you get back. You got tomorrow off. You hope when the bell rings Friday, we see a glimpse of Jackson Merrill.
I'd rather have yes, please. I'd rather have this team this year and what they've done in the last road trip than last year's start. And the team that started last year. It was so frustrating. It was the roller coaster, remember?
Yeah.
They beat up on the Marlins, and then that one day, the roller coaster thing was because the Marlins crushed the Padres at home in a getaway day. And the sky was falling then. The sky's not falling right now.
No, this was their first getaway day loss of the season, by the way. So they have to fly home on a down note. We have an up note for you because it's a really good show. I'll tell you all about it when we come back. Gwynn and Chris is underway.
If you're ready.
These things, it even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here, don't hit it here.
Scraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. 4th hole, nice smooth delivery, hit it too hard. Sasquatch.
So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
These things, it even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here, don't hit it here.
Scraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. Fourth hole. Nice smooth delivery. Hit it too hard.
Sasquatch. So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
These things. It even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here. Don't hit it here.
Scraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. Fourth hole. Nice smooth delivery.
Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan, presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com. Get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. Scrape, what's your latest iPhone number? What do you have? About 12, 13?
I think that I have the iPhone Never.
What does that mean?
It means I've never had an iPhone.
You know what I mean. All right. Your other device that I don't even know the name of.
The Google Pixel?
What do you have?
I have a Pixel 8.
Pixel 8.
Yes, it's a little bit behind the iPhone.
Here's the funny thing is if the Pixel people went out of business and
They're
all of that
made by Google, so
all right, I know it's not going to happen. But if all of this went out of business and you were left with only an iPhone, I think you would just go off grid. I don't think you can make
right.
I don't think you can make a deal with yourself to carry an iPhone around, even if that was the only thing available to you.
There's a few things in my life that I take very seriously.
Oh, yes, you're hardcore on that.
Because I have lost friends over the texting thing. I think it's incredibly...
Wait, they've left you or you've left them?
They've left me. I think it's incredibly...
they've left you?
Narcissistic of iPhone users to not like the blue bubble versus green bubble.
Well, I don't care for the green bubble, but I still will send you a message. It's okay with me.
Thank you.
I just don't care for it. I feel better. Here's why. I feel better when I send the blue bubble and then it says delivered underneath. Then I know I've done what I can do.
See,
the green bubble doesn't say anything, and I'm always kind of left twisting in the wind a little bit.
Well, now I have to say that Apple has made texting easier because they allow a certain, I think it's called RCS, Rich Communication Services.
Okay.
Instead of the MMS, which was what, or SMS, which is what they're using, Swift messaging service.
You're losing me now.
Yeah.
You're
anyway, long story short,
way up here, Scrape. Up here.
Go buy an iPhone from T-Mobile. That's what you should do.
Get one there. They got the i16 Pro.
I'm a company man, Chris.
I am. Chris and Crisello, Matt Scraby. Tony's on his way back. Full show tomorrow as the Padres will have a day off. We should also remind you of this programming note. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. It's Thursday. That means you stop what you're doing and you tune in or watch on YouTube the Padre Roundtable. It is an hour of commercial-free Padre talk tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And this is either good news for some of you or it's bad news for some of you.
A little bit of both, I think.
Probably a little bit of both. Ben is off tomorrow, so they have asked, I don't know why, They've asked me to host the roundtable tomorrow. Could the roundtable be a little prickly tomorrow with me as the host? You know how Ben does Ben does such a smooth job, and Ben can look you in the face and say, your team stinks. And you go, yeah, you're right, Ben. He just has such a nice way about it. You know what I mean? When I say your team stinks, I mean it. It's a totally different thing.
You also have a little bit of a different circumstance for this when you're hosting. They are coming off of a losing road trip for the first time this year. They've looked the worst they've had all year so far.
Yeah.
And you got Mr. Optimistic, Tony Gwynn Jr.
Tony will be here on the roundtable tomorrow as well.
We have to convince him something is wrong with this team.
I don't think you'll be able to convince him at all. I will do my best, though, because I do have some statistics that are rather glaring and rather weird and rather ugly, to be honest with you, surrounding this team.
See, I know you'll bring up things that are based upon stats.
Yes, it's a factual thing.
Yeah.
I don't have the opinion that the team is poor in any area, but the stats can back me up in a few areas. And so I'll bring some of that stuff up on the roundtable tomorrow. We'll see how it goes.
Cool.
From 10 to 11 a.m., an hour of commercial-free Padre talk brought to you by Roundtable Pizza, which is pizza royalty. That just starts off.
We have a massive day tomorrow.
Big day tomorrow, right? Put it on 97.3, and shut her down. Yeah, that's it. We got that 10 to 11. Then we have the regular day, right? We have you and I after Braden from 2 to 6 with Tony in studio.
2 to 4.
Oh, okay, right. Let me do this again. You and I and Tony in studio tomorrow, but only from 2 to 4. Why? Because the roundtable plays again from 4 to 5 for those who missed it in the morning. And then at 5 o'clock tomorrow night, Scraby, I'm so excited. I may not sleep tonight.
I know. I've been thinking about you.
It is our in-depth coverage of the National Football League draft.
Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.
Nobody loves the draft like I do.
Tua Tagovailoa.
That was on Tua's biggest day of his life. This is how the commissioner pronounced his name.
Tua Tagovailoa.
That was closer than a lot of other people got on his draft day.
Tua Tagovailoa.
There you go. That's what I like better. Anyway, yeah, we got the draft tomorrow night. I'll be hosting, which means I'll just kind of set up these guys. Scraby, Braden will be in, break down all the picks. And if you are a football fan and you're out and about tomorrow night, you're covered, man. We got you covered on all the picks from number 1 right on through the entire first round tomorrow night. So
this Shedeur Sanders being drafted couldn't happen sooner. I'm so tired of the Shedeur Sanders news every time I click on a website.
Let me give people a little preview of tomorrow night's commentary on the draft. With the third pick in the National Football League draft, the New York Giants select Shedeur Sanders.
That's the Giants fan base. You think the Giants are going to select Shedeur?
That's the Giants fan base. But then what are you going to say after it's done?
I'm going to say this pick is
blows.
Actually, whoa. Actually, this is what I'll say after that pick.
This whole thing has been a dumpster fire.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to it.
I like to be wrong.
Commentary on
I
that
like
tomorrow.
to be wrong on these things. I do, because I don't like to predict someone being terrible. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is a starting NFL quarterback out the gate. He needs some time.
Predicting that somebody will be terrible led to one of my highlights of my entire radio career.
What is this? Have you told me this?
Oh, yes. A long time ago, Coach and I were hosting the NBA draft coverage.
Yes.
Joe Tatino, who was, by the way, one of the greatest guest getters of all time. Joe, if you're out there, nobody got a guest like Joe Tatino. They called him the Bulldog, and that's why. But that night of the draft, we somehow had the hotel number of where all the picks were staying. And I'll never forget the Warriors took now I can't remember the guy's name. Todd. Oh man, now I'm blanking on his name. He was a forward from NC State. Todd, let's just say Todd Johnson. So they select this guy, and me and Coach are going, back and forth, and I go, this Todd Johnson
Todd
guy.
Fuller.
Todd Fuller, thank you. I appreciate somebody got that for us. I said, Todd Fuller's going to be a stiff. I've seen this guy play in college, and just then Tatino came in and said, hey, guys, we got Todd Fuller on the line. And he either heard me say what I said or he just missed it. But I don't know because I was so embarrassed when we went to the interview with him.
Yeah.
But the bottom line turned out to be pretty much a stiff. So I take
So you
credit
were
for
correct.
that. I take credit for that at the expense of our friend Todd Fuller. But anyway, all
Do you
right.
think he tells that story? Is like, man,
I don't think he
after
heard.
I got drafted, I was going on this radio station.
I was on the biggest high of my life.
Yeah, and
then
this guy said I'm a stiff before I go on the air. Ruined my career.
I'll say one thing. If he did hear me say it, he's the world's nicest guy because
'Cause
he
he
didn't
didn't say a
mention a
word?
word about it when he came on for the
Maybe
interview.
he thought he was a stiff.
Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, that's fun. Draft coverage tomorrow night, 5 till, I don't know, where's it go, 8:30, 9 o'clock, Scrape?
Yeah.
We don't care. We're going to be here, right? I'm in no hurry.
I
got
have
nowhere
the
to go.
mindset of
Yeah.
I'm here for the long haul.
Yeah, we'll both be here for the long haul tomorrow night. So, tomorrow's a great day. I'm excited. Tomorrow, host the roundtable at 10 through the regular day, and then 5 p.m. draft coverage. So make your plans to be with us for all of that stuff. Padres lose 6-0 to the Tigers today. Tigers hit 3 home runs in the ball game, and the Padres obviously don't hit any. And they're shut out for the first time this season. We can thank our guy, Julio Iglesias.
Jose.
Why do I call him Julio? Because that was Julio Iglesias was the singer. That's
No,
why.
and we have him on Friday for Friar Friday, so
I might get it right when he comes on Friday.
Let's hope you get it right.
I hope I get it right. Jose Iglesias, he had both hits today. So if it's not for him, we're talking about even a worse day.
Yeah.
But he had 2 singles to right field. That was pretty much all she wrote for the Padre offense today in Detroit.
The final score doesn't really tell us how the Padres did hang in there for a little bit. Like with this lineup, I think it's important to kind of remember and look for them to hang in there.
Well,
and put themselves in a spot to win a game.
When you have this kind of lineup, you got to take advantage of the chances you get. You're not going to get many because you're just going to have as much traffic as usual. And you got to get a couple of knocks. And they went 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. And, that combined with the fact that you don't have your guys going to get shut out.
Yeah.
And so they did.
Because on the chat right now, we got people thinking that they're going to be below 500 by the time Merrill gets back. Like sky is not falling.
They're not going to be below 500 times Merrill gets back because I'm pretty sure he's going to be back this weekend.
Please.
I'm feeling it.
Please.
I think he'll be back this weekend. All right, we're taking a break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Kyle Glaser is a great baseball guy, hosts the Friar Territory podcast, but we know him from Baseball America, ESPN stuff. Good baseball mind. We'll find out what he thinks about things when we come back on Gwynn and Chris. All right, welcome back. It's Gwynn and Chris. Happy to be with you on a Wednesday, middle of the week action. Padres go down 6-0 to the Detroit Tigers today. But how about some good news, Scrape? I got 2 bits of good news before we get to Kyle Glaser and talk some more baseball.
Okay.
And if you know me the way you do, you're surprised to hear that I have 2 bits of good news.
Yeah, I mean, so
that's
far
normal. Normally, I don't have any.
We've had about 8 bits of bad news.
Well, you lose 6-0. I don't have much good news about that. But I do have this. Magoon Guath, the great Aztec 7-footer, who had originally been in the transfer portal, then got out of the transfer portal and said he would come back to the Aztecs unless he turned pro, announced on his Instagram today that he's not going anywhere.
That is actually huge.
That's pretty good news.
Because I was very depressed the day Magoon Guath left.
I was too. And you look at this Aztec basketball team, they had what for them was a bad year, right? They only got to the NCAA tournament and then laid a big fat egg, and, North Carolina, crushed them. And it was really a sad end to the season, where they finished, 4th in the regular season? And they didn't win the conference tournament. I think they went out in the first round of the conference tournament for the first time in 17 years.
Who did they lose to? I mean, my memory
I do
is so
too.
bad.
It's a great question because
they went on to the championship. Yeah, it was Boise State.
Boise State. They lost to them. But so for them, that's a bad year. For me, it was still pretty good because I remember back when. But now that you get Magoon Guath back healthy and the recruiting that apparently they have done with this Elise, is it Valentine? No,
I'm not even going to try.
It's a freshman recruit that's like 4-star, 5-star. I don't know.
I mean, this guy's such a big deal that the other day we were golfing and the golf partner asked us.
I know
about
people are really excited about Scott. Our golf guy asked me about him, but and I just remembered the Elise part. I didn't remember his last name, but it doesn't matter. He's supposed to be great. They got a couple of good transfers. They got good guys coming back. People are saying the Aztecs can be loaded for bear next year. Looking forward to that. We don't have Nick, our guy Nick
Boyd.
Nick Boyd. He transferred, but so what? We got the other kid who was 3rd in the league, 3rd in the nation in assists.
Yeah,
coming to replace him.
That's true from
Louisiana Tech. So, anyways,
LZ Harrington.
Thank you. Yeah, what'd I say? Livingston. I was not really close.
I don't know. But he plays at St. John Bosco.
Not anymore.
But not anymore. Yeah,
plays at San Diego State now.
He's 6'6". He initially committed to Harvard. He's a smart guy too,
apparently.
And then went to USC in December, and now he's at San Diego.
Now he's an Aztec. All right, that's one bit of good news. Here's the other bit of good news. Although I don't know that this is something I want to go to because it's just going to open up a huge can of worms.
We're going to have to revisit?
May have to revisit. Young Padre shortstop Leo Dallas DeVries last night.
El Mutante
in single A baseball at Fort Wayne had a homer, a double, a single, another homer, and then finished off the cycle with a triple. He went 5 for 5 with 2 home runs, a sacrifice fly, and how about 8 RBIs?
And what was the final score?
I don't know.
The final score
I didn't even
was
bother to look at that.
They won 15-14.
Oh,
they
really?
needed every single RBI that he put on the board.
So the wind was blowing out in Fort Wayne or wherever that game was played.
I don't even know it was that, but
yeah.
But El Mutante is what they're calling him, the mutant, and he is a mutant. He's 18 and he's hitting for a cycle and a 2 home run cycle
with 8 ribs.
That's
ribeyes.
8 steaks.
Steaks, yes.
Like if you don't get excited about that, if you're a Padres fan, I mean that's exciting.
And now let me ask you why I didn't want to bring it up.
Because everybody wants him to be on the big league roster.
Everybody wants him to replace Xander Bogaerts tomorrow.
Which I do plan on asking Kyle Glaser about the viability of DeVries making the big league team this year.
This year?
Yeah. I'm going to get him on the line right now.
I would bring him up tomorrow.
Oh, to replace Xander?
No, but to play somebody. They got a lot of guys that are automatic.
Somebody.
They got a lot of guys that are automatic outs right now with all these injuries. All right. Great game for Leo Dallas DeVries. You get a 5 for 5, 8 rib cycle, 2 homer. That's a hell of a game. I don't care if you're playing the game in a bandbox somewhere. That's a big, big game. All right, so there's our bits of good news. We'll revisit plenty of Padre baseball as the program goes along. In fact, in the 5 o'clock hour today, it's a little while from now, but make sure you're back with us if you have to go somewhere. We'll have the very popular new segment, Notes on a Scorecard. And I can tell you in advance that Scraby and I will be getting in a huge fight today during Notes on a Scorecard.
Oh,
I'm just
really?
telling you in advance, you and I will get in a fight during the Notes in a Scorecard segment.
Okay.
It may not be a fist fight, but it's going to be a fight nonetheless.
Wow, I did not expect this.
Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Right now, we're happy to be joined by one of the smartest baseball guys I know, Kyle Glaser, host of Friar Territory, the podcast. We've seen him with Baseball America.
Also contributor to MLB.com.
MLB. I mean, look, Kyle, anybody that wants smart baseball content goes to Kyle Glaser. That's why we're going to him on the program. Kyle, how are you, sir?
Doing all right, Chris. I appreciate the kind words. Happy to be on with you.
Good to talk to you. What we've seen in the last, well, at least this week in Detroit, maybe the whole road trip, is the reason why certain guys play in the major leagues and certain guys aren't quite ready for the major leagues. You know, the Padres have all these injuries. They're plugging guys in left and right. I'm sure everybody's giving it their best shot, you know, but you don't have your team right now. And you have 3 or 4 guys in each lineup that started the year in the minors, and you're not getting much in the way of offense. Talk a little bit about how this proves what we already know, that certain guys are just another level ahead of other guys.
Look, the Padres hit 223 and averaged 2.5 runs per game on this 6-game road trip. Obviously not the kind of production you want. And if you look at today's lineup, 5 guys in this lineup today would not be in the Padres' regular starting lineup when everyone is healthy and rested and ready to go. This is just kind of where they are right now. We've talked about this organization in part because of all the talented young prospects they've traded over the years to go get veterans. There's not a lot of depth here. It's a lot of veteran minor league free agent signing types that they had to bring in to fill out the AAA El Paso roster. And those are the guys we're now seeing in the majors. And again, a couple of those guys have certainly outperformed that contract status. You look at Gavin Sheets. Jose Iglesias was a great player last year. It was kind of surprising he was available on a minor league deal. But look, the Oscar Gonzalez's of the world, the Tirso Ornellis's of the world, the Tyler Wade's of the world. There's a reason these guys have been outrighted, DFA'd, forced to spend most of their careers in AAA. These are bench-type players that are being forced into everyday roles. And right now, they're just trying to keep things afloat. I don't think you should expect any of these guys to excel. It's about just helping the team survive right now.
I agree with you, and that's kind of what we're seeing. And, to add to what you just said, I mean, Tyler Wade, in the case of him, he was available for any team that wanted him on waivers for a song, but everyone passed on him. I think we were a little surprised, but that's what people think of Tyler Wade. Same for Eggy Rosario, which I was surprised by that as well. But, the Padres are making do with what they can. Tell me what you're seeing on the other side of thing in the pitching, and most specifically with Nick Pivetta, breaking down some of the stuff that you like to look at and what is helping make him so much more successful so far this year than he's ever been before.
Well, the biggest thing with Nick Pivetta is he was a great change of scenery candidate. He's always had really good stuff and would miss bats and didn't walk a lot of hitters. The issue is he was pitching in front of a terrible defense in Boston that allowed way too many balls to fall in, so a lot of his innings were extended.
Yeah.
And he was prone to giving up hard contact in the air, which doesn't play very well in the AL East when you're pitching at Yankee Stadium, you're pitching at Fenway Park. So he had a bit of a home run problem. Just by putting him in front of a better defense in San Diego and then moving him to the NL West with more pitcher-friendly ballparks, it was reasonable to expect that he would perform better. But I think we're just seeing him just be so locked in and consistent. He's a very fiery guy. You see him on the mound, stomping around, showing energy, and that great when he's going well. It has caused him some issues at times when things aren't going well. But we're seeing the best version of Nick Pivetta right now. The one thing I will note is he has done this a little bit before in his career where he will have a stretch of 6, 7, 8 starts where he looks absolutely dominant, and then he'll follow it up with a stretch of 6, 7, 8 starts where he's struggling to get out of the 3rd or 4th inning. So it's been great to see so far, but I do think we need to give it a little bit of time and see if he can maintain it as opposed to falling back into his career-long pattern of 6 great starts, 6 bad starts, and so on and so forth.
Talking to Kyle Glaser, contributor to MLB.com as well as Foul Territory. And Kyle, I'm kind of the person who has to field these questions because I think about these questions. Xander Bogaerts has not been great for the Padres. Now, he has the 2nd most doubles on the team this year, but I'm seeing a lot of weak contact from Xander Bogaerts. And I understand that they're not going to go away from him because of the contract and because of necessity. But is there a positive outlook to ever really seeing the Xander Bogaerts that we thought we were going to get?
I think it's very important to modify expectations. The Xander Bogaerts, who was hitting 300 with 20 to 30 home runs, driving in 100 runs a year in Boston in his prime, that guy just hasn't been around for a few years. And it's very, very, very rare for someone in their 30s to suddenly rediscover the fountain of youth and perform like they did in their mid-20s. Realistically, where Xander Bogaerts is in his career right now, you're hoping for 270, 280 with a bunch of doubles and 15-ish home runs. And as your 6th hitter, that's more than fine. Right now, he's batting cleanup because of the Padres' injuries. Once guys come back and start getting healthy and he's your 6th hitter, that's fine. But realistically, that's what should be expected from him right now. Expecting him to be the same player he was at 26 when he was hitting 30 bombs a year, I just don't think that's realistic.
It's a great point. I mean, Xander Bogaerts was top 20 in the MVP balloting 5 years in a row. I mean, that's just, that's not within his reach right now. But I agree. I mean, I said this, if he does 19 homers and you said 15 and drives in 60, steals 19 and hits 280, we would all take that. Well, that's exactly what he did 2 years ago, but people were still upset with him then because he wasn't doing what he had done in Boston, And
again, I think some of that is just a function of the contract he signed.
Yeah.
The expectations are naturally going to be higher, but I think if you kind of take a step back and really examine the player he is today and what he's capable of, that 280, 15, maybe he gets close to 20 home runs. That's just kind of who he is. And I think it's unfair to expect him to be at 32, 33, who he was at 24, 25, 26.
All right, so Xander Bogaerts is probably not going to be what he was now that he's in his 30s.
I agree with Kyle 100%. You have to shift your expectations on guys that are getting older.
It would be smart to do that. Speaking of that, Yuli Gurriel is in his 40s. And this is a guy that was a great hitter for Houston. I'm not seeing it right now, Kyle. I'm not seeing much. He's 4 for 32 with a double, but of the 28 outs, it seems like almost every one of them is just a lazy pop-up, a simple ground ball. He's not really making hard contact to me. I don't scout this stuff, but I'm not noticing it. How do teams decide when a guy is, it's the end? And you hate to say it or see it, but it does happen.
We will see decisions like that made. Typically, you see it 1st of June. We saw with the Angels, for example, Miguel Sano and Aaron Hicks a year ago. Nelson Cruz, the Padres held on to him through about the All-Star break 2 years ago. But look, Yuli Gurriel, and I wrote about this and mentioned it, he was one of the best hitters in the world in his prime when he was in Cuba. When he came over, he was able to become one of the integral pieces of the Houston Astros teams that were perennial World Series contenders and 2-time champions. He's had a great career. He has not hit for 3 years. This isn't new. He is 41. He hasn't hit for years. Signing him to a minor league deal with a roster bonus of over $1 million, I thought was the one real big mistake the Padres made in their offseason this year. It was a signing that didn't make sense the moment they made it. There are much better options available if you want to sign a right-handed first base DH type for $1 million. I think it's hard to expect him to give you anything when he's 41. And it's not like this is his first year in decline. This is his fourth year now where he's just not hitting anymore.
Yeah. It hurts to say it, but it does have age is undefeated, as we like to say.
Yeah,
around
Father
here.
Times.
Father Time, yeah.
That's what Tony says. We're talking to Kyle Glaser here, contributor for MLB.com and Foul Territory. And I want to ask about the huge performance yesterday by Leo DeVries in Fort Wayne. He had the cycle. We were just talking about it. He had a 2 home run cycle. And everybody that we've talked to leading up until now have said that he's probably not going to make his debut until 2027. Next year, 2026. Is there any chance you think we see Leo DeVries in a big league uniform this year?
Scrabby wants it so bad.
I don't necessarily want it, but it would be fun to see.
I'll say this, knowing how aggressively AJ Preller likes to push prospects, often to their detriment, I'm never going to say there's a 0% chance.
Okay.
But it would not do him any good. It would not do the Padres any good. This is a really, really, really talented kid.
Uh-oh.
Kyle was he was rolling along nicely there.
Kyle, can you hear us?
Kyle, can you hear us?
Oh no.
We got to get him back because
we'll
I got to hear
back.
the answer to that question.
We'll get him back.
About Leo DeVries.
Now we're in the standoff of, do I call him as he's calling me, and then we hit the busy signal
I've
together?
heard that happen before. That is.
I'm just going to wait a few seconds, but yeah, I don't necessarily think that Leo DeVries is going to be a big leaguer this year, and I don't like rushing guys. We saw it with CJ Abrams. CJ Abrams was a guy they put on the big league roster who wasn't ready.
He's ready now.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's ready now.
Yeah, look, it would be wonderful, but same with Ethan Salas. You got it. You come up and you struggle badly. A lot of times the old saying is it's hard to get your confidence back at the big league level. So that's why they don't bring guys up too early. All right, Kyle, finish up on Leo Dallas DeVries.
Yes, he was giving us a great answer on
it was a really good answer about Leo.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
No worries. It happens. It happens.
Yeah, no, he's really talented. He's 18 years old. He's in A-ball. He needs time. He needs to. The pitchers are going to see him second time through the league, third time through the league. He also has some footwork and just basic defensive fundamental stuff he needs to work on at shortstop. Again, the natural things that come with being an 18-year-old in A-ball. There's no reason to rush this. Even if he comes up at the end of next year, he'd be 19 years old, which is still exceptionally young. I again, just let him develop on his own timeline. There's no reason to push this for him or the Padres.
For the record, I agree.
Okay, no, you don't. You want
yes,
him.
I do.
You want him tomorrow. I want to finish on an upbeat thing with Kyle. Fernando Tatis Jr. Speaking of young guys who started out at 19, 20, what's he doing now that is allowing him to, for some reason, doesn't swing at any outside curveballs in the dirt and squaring up almost everything, and he's an MVP candidate for the first 5 weeks of the season. What are you seeing from Fernando that's allowing what some people think is the real Fernando to come out?
ESPN had a really good graphic on Sunday Night Baseball where they showed he's standing a little further back in the box, his feet are a little bit closer together, and it's allowing him to track the ball just a little bit deeper, that extra, tenth of a second with pitch recognition and just seeing where the baseball's going and just tracking it deeper. That's allowing him to, again, cut down his strikeout rate like we've seen. It's down 10%. And he's just driving everything. He's seeing the baseball longer. He's seeing it well. And the other thing we have to remember is because he's been around so long, we assume he's older than he is. He just is now 26. He is just now entering his prime, his physical prime. This is when guys really take off. This 26, 27, 28. This is when we see the best versions of players, and he's just now hitting that. So a combination of just natural age and maturity and reps combined with some of the changes he's made in the box, we are seeing the best version of Fernando Tatis Jr. we've ever seen, and I think we will continue to see him the rest of this year into next year and the year after that.
All right. Every time we interview Kyle Glaser, I finish the interview a little smarter.
Me too.
So I'm always happy to do that.
Me too.
I like, that was a simple thing.
Yes.
Tell Fernando, move back a half a step. You'll see the ball a little longer.
I did tell him that, but he didn't listen to me.
I know he didn't listen to you, but he apparently listened to Victor Rodriguez. All right. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it. Good luck with the with MLB.com and everything, and stay in touch, sir.
Absolutely. Happy to join you guys anytime.
There he goes, Kyle Glaser. Good stuff. MLB.com, host of Friar Territory, the podcast, and he's just smart on baseball. So,
yes,
I didn't even think of that with Fernando. But half
about his prime or the
tenth of a second that is allowing him not to swing at so many curves down in the dirt. Right? He used to do it all the time. He used to go, here comes the curve, Fernando. Don't swing. And then he would swing. But this year he's tracking it beautifully. And that's one of the reasons why he's hammering the ball. Had his on-base streak ended today, though.
That was going to happen at some point.
Remember
when Juan Soto, was it the other way around? Juan Soto ended Xander Bogaerts' on-base streak a couple years ago.
Yeah. Fernando's ends at 23. Padres lose 6-0. Daily Gambit coming up. All right, welcome back to it. Thanks much to Kyle Glaser there. Enjoyed that baseball chat. Hopefully you got a little knowledge out of it, as we did. Hour number 2, Gwynn and Chris. Tony on his way back to San Diego. Padres limping home after their first shutout loss of the season. Detroit, 6-0. Yeah, there they are. The Bengals took them down today.
That field, by the way, I know this is a random thought and you're talking and I just interrupted you. That field is massive.
It looks like it's really spread out.
Really big.
Looks like there's a lot of room. Looks like it's hard to hit a home run there, although the Tigers hit 3 of them today.
Yeah, but the Tigers hit 3 last night that could have gone out. Oh, man, that's a big field.
And Tirso Ornelas will tell you it's a big field because he should have had his first not only major league hit, should have had his first major league home run. Hit the ball 410 to dead center, but that's not far enough in Detroit.
Would have changed everything, Chris. I don't think it would.
Not really. They were down 4-0 at the time.
Yes.
Might have kept them from getting shut out. That's about all that could have done. Jose Iglesias had the only 2 hits today for the Friars. They're still 17-8, but they no longer have the best record in baseball. The Mets in 10 innings beat the Phillies 4-3. So the Metropolitans now at 18-7 are on top of the baseball world. God, I love when you do that. You guys missed it.
Insane.
He didn't have his microphone on, and he just bellowed something into a.
It drives me insane.
Into a mic
because I turn off the microphone when I'm typing so that people don't pick up my typing. Anyway, now I don't ever. Oh, the Mets are playing well. Great. You spent like $400 million. You better play well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
That was all worth it, Chris.
Thank you, Doomsayer. Appreciate it. Tomorrow is not only our Padre Roundtable at 10 a.m. with guest host Chris Ello. That's right. I'll be hosting tomorrow, so you don't want to miss the roundtable. You don't know what direction it'll take.
Strasburg ready to go.
With me at the helm. Thank you. And also tomorrow night, 5 o'clock, in and around all the rest of the regular talk shows, 5 o'clock tomorrow, NFL draft coverage. Again, with me, I'm in the host chair. Big day for me. Scraby and Braden will be alongside. And when it comes to pick 26, I will say out loud, hey, Scraby, whose pick is it now at number 26? And you will scream,
the Rams, baby!
That's right.
The Rams!
That's the kind of coverage you'll get tomorrow on the draft show.
Unless they trade the pick, Chris.
Unless they trade the pick. That's exactly right. All right. Speaking of NFL draft, got some good Daily Gambit stuff surrounding the NFL draft. So let's get to that right now.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in the Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. No bets to review, but we are going to talk about some of the NFL draft bets. And I have a couple fun things. We're not going to actually make the bets, Chris, but this is what is out there if you are looking for it and you are in a place where you can legally do that. Like Ashton Genty, Chris.
Okay.
Over under 6.5 position drafted. So will he go before the 6th pick or the 6th pick?
6th or before?
Thank you.
Or 7th or later?
After. Yes, thank you.
Well, the Bears are hoping it's later because
Yes.
they want him at the 10th pick. Now who knows if they move up. But from everything I've read, and I know as much as anyone, Raiders want him at 6.
Yeah, that's
they
the
have
big news.
They have the picks, so I say he'll go under. I say the Raiders will take him at 6, and hope he's the next Marcus Allen.
Now,
so I don't think he'll be, but
I'm hoping for Ashton Genty to do good things.
All right,
Jackson Dart, the Ole Miss quarterback.
Okay,
he's been. Firing up the charts or skyrocketing up the charts?
Moving up the charts, maybe?
Or moving up the charts.
Okay.
All three of those.
Right.
And some say he may be the second quarterback pick behind Cam Ward. His bet draft position, though, is over under 24.5. Does he go before that? There's a lot of picks.
24.5?
Yeah.
You would think somebody would take a quarterback there. I don't think he'll be the second quarterback taken. I think the pressure to draft Shedeur Sanders is going to get to somebody. If nobody else, the Saints at 9, who now need a quarterback because Carr is maybe out for next season. Jackson Dart won't be far behind, though. I say he goes above the 24th
Me
pick.
too.
Somebody needs him somewhere.
I feel like there's going to be, since this isn't like an extremely strong quarterback class, I think there's going to be a run on quarterbacks early. All right, let's go to Shedeur Sanders, Chris.
Okay.
And then we have one last one. Your favorite player in the draft, I think, Tyler Warren, the Penn State tight
I
end.
like that guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I do like him.
Shedeur Sanders over under 14.5. Under is actually plus 320. Over
Will he get
is
taken
minus
before
4.
14.5?
Yeah, this is a crazy line.
Well, I'm picking the Saints at 9. So he'll say
So you're going to go
before.
plus 320 on the under.
Wait, plus 320?
Yeah, they're saying that it's
They're saying
less
he's more likely to get taken after the 14th?
Yeah, this is
Really?
why it's such a crazy line, because everything I read is that he gets taken in the top 10.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
You'll go with under 14.5.
I
will go
I
with
don't care
under
if he
14.
does. I care. It would not bother me if Dion and him have to sweat it out for a couple of hours. But,
it wouldn't bother me either. I don't want to be a hater, but I am a hater.
I don't want to be a hater either, but the kid needs a little ego adjustment. I'm sorry.
Well, yes.
That's the kind of thing that can bring you back to reality pretty quick if you're sitting there for 6
Dion
hours.
says it's a character assassination by the NFL teams.
I'm
I
sure
don't
it
I don't
is.
necessarily know that.
I don't buy it. Do you know why it's not a character assassination?
Why?
Because in the NFL, they don't care what your character is, right? They draft guys all the time that are problem people, but they have so much talent that they figure they can make them right.
Jalen Carter was in some trouble when he got drafted.
They don't care in the NFL. If you can play, you know this.
Yeah.
If you can play, you can be drafted, or you can, get away with a lot of stuff. Your character doesn't mean too much. That's why I don't agree with the character assassination part. If Shedeur Sanders was all that, he could be the biggest idiot on planet Earth, and he would be the number 1 pick. But they don't think he's all that.
I can't argue, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, Tyler Warren, tight end.
Yes.
Penn State, over under 9.5.
I would. First of all,
I don't know how teams value this guy.
I don't either. First of all, the Dolphins would be stupid. So I'm, always think of my team first. But they have a tight end, and
Dolphins are 13th pick.
Yes, they need. We know what they need, and that's not a tight end. They got to get somebody that can block. He is a top 10 talent, I believe. And there's another pretty good tight end on the board from Michigan, Colston Loveland.
Yeah.
But I don't remember him as much as I remember Tyler Warren making play after play after play.
Because he got the ball every time.
Well,
because he's good.
Yeah, give him the ball because he's good. He's tough to stop. He looks like Brock Bowers to me. I'd take him in the top 10 for sure.
All right. What the bet was 9.5.
I'm going to go under again. I have everybody under.
I'm going to go over.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go over. But those are some of the
and I'm making my one last draft.
There.
My one last draft prediction: Abdul Carter ends up the best player coming out of this draft.
I don't disagree with you.
Giants take him at 3, and they're ecstatic.
They're ecstatic with Abdul Carter. But the Giants need so much more than
Of course they do, but you got to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere.
And they have done the skill position player draft. Like Kadarius Toney's retired at this point.
But they got Malik Neighbors last year, right? So they've got a guy.
But they don't have a quarterback.
Well, they got Russell Wilson and, pray for rain. So, I don't know. The Giants are not a good organization, but I think Abdul Carter will be the guy.
All right. Let's see.
We'll see. It is funny because in the NFL now, a defensive edge rusher is more important. I think it's the second most important position to draft people after quarterback.
Well,
because they can change a game by upending the other quarterback.
Pressuring the quarterback goes a long way. Even if you're not sacking him, you're getting him off of his spot.
Knocking him down. I think this Abdul Carter can do it. So
here's one. Did you have something?
No.
I had one. There's top 5 picks exact order.
Okay.
And I'm not going to obviously go through all of them, but all of them have Cam Ward being taken number 1 and right. And then Travis Hunter number 2. Okay. There's a couple that have Abdul Carter number 2. And then you got Will Campbell and Ashton Genty.
What's the favorite for top 5?
Minus 140, Cameron Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell, Ashton Genty in that order.
See, I don't agree with that.
Because you think Abdul Carter could go number 2?
No, I don't think Ashton Genty's going to go 5.
Yeah.
I think Ashton Genty will go 6 to the Raiders. I think Jacksonville will pass. So that's what I'm thinking. That's why I don't think that's the order for the top 5. I think Ashton Genty slips to the Raiders at 6. I don't know who they take at 5. It's up to the Jaguars. But look,
they need a running back too.
The Jaguars need a lot as well. The most thing the Jaguars need is a pilot to get them back and forth to London, where they play all their home games. That's a weird team, man. I don't get that organization. When you giving up like 3 home games every year on purpose? Like that makes no sense to me.
With the first pick, or the 5th pick in the NFL
they take
draft,
former TWA pilot Ron.
Ron has been up for the first round for the last couple years.
Who currently lives in the outskirts of greater
Duval County,
Florida. I don't know. Ron.
Hilarious. Someone says, Frankie says, Kadarius Toney, don't you mean his new rap name, Young Joka?
I don't mean that.
I don't mean that either.
All right, we'll have a lot more fun. We're going to have fun on the draft tomorrow, but you'll get all the info you need. When we come back, a couple of picks for tonight's game after we check traffic.
From
I want to thank Kelly Danick for doing the traffic during the Ben and Wood show. Was that actually the traffic now, or was that the morning traffic replayed erroneously? Not by you, because I understand that's not your...
No, it just did. Sometimes the internet is a little bit slow and it doesn't come through in time. And so I honestly should be checking the time before I go to it, but I did not check the time.
So that actually may have been so if you're out there, the traffic that we just gave you was the morning bumper to bumper traffic that no longer exists.
Yes. I will be checking to make sure. You know what? I'm going to check and see if we even have traffic right here because it is sponsored, Chris.
Yes, we should give.
All right, we should do it because
let's give everybody a quick update. You might need it on your way out of work.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Off to kind of a busy start this afternoon. Collision on northbound 5 before the Coronado Bridge. It's over to the right shoulder. Fire crew's got that right lane blocked. And on southbound 5, right at the northbound 163 connector ramp, another accident. This involves a couple vehicles. They're over to the right shoulder. Imperial Avenue on-ramp to northbound 805, a crash. Also, an accident in the East County, westbound 8 before Mollison. It's over the right shoulder. We also have reports of a possible encampment fire near the Waring Road on-ramp to westbound 8. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, there we go. Very good, Kelly. Now, on to some games that are going to be played tonight, and we're going to predict how they're going to turn out, Scrape. It's part of the Daily Gambit.
So we're going to make bets?
Yes.
Okay.
NBA playoffs continuing tonight. We're going to talk about the Laker win a little bit later. Thought that the Timberwolves lost the game more than the Lakers won the game.
Okay.
I can say that because Tony's not here to dispute me.
He's never here when the Lakers
lose. The Lakers played well, but Minnesota just was nowhere near as good a team as they were in game 1. So anyway, tonight, Celtics 10.5 over the Magic. Celtics took game 1, and obviously a solid favorite here in game 2. What do you think, Scrape? The Magic hung around in game 1, but it eventually got away from them to the I'm trying to look at the final score of that first game for you.
Well, while you're talking,
it was 103-86. So the Celtics outscored them by 18 in the second half to win by 17.
I like this Paolo Banchero guy. He's pretty good.
He's really good. 36 points in the first game.
Yep. I don't know that they beat the Celtics, but I think they come within 10.
I'm going to take the Magic as well. This is a stupid bet because I'm betting with my heart. I cannot pick the Celtics. I also heard you know what? I don't like Jason Tatum. There, I'm throwing that out there. Put him in the book.
I don't think you've ever. Or I think that's no.
Is that
you don't like him because he shoots too many threes, right?
I've already declared that. No, it's not because of what he to me is the poster child for what's wrong with the NBA.
Shooting threes.
Well, just dribbling the ball for 23 seconds and then making a move and either shooting a three or driving. I hate the Celtics style of play. And that's it. And he's the main cog in that.
I can get behind that.
But if I was a Celtic fan, I'd, say take a walk because we won the title with that style of play.
Yep.
Cleveland is 12 over Miami. First game was a 21-point win for the Cavs. But again, they blew it open late. The Heat hung around for a while. I'll go with I like Eric Spoelstra. I think he's going to make enough adjustments to keep Miami in the game. I just think he's a great coach. Miami's got a lot of experience. So the 12 points, I'll take Miami. How about you?
I'm going to take the Cavs.
Cavs with the runaway. Here's an interesting game. Houston, home to Golden State. Houston's favored by 3.5. Don't know what the odds makers are looking at. Golden State has 3 championship players on their roster. Houston has no one who's ever played a playoff game, and it showed big time in game 1. Steph is incredible. Draymond Green basically shut down the Rockets' offense by himself.
And they got into a fight with who? Jerry Stackhouse?
Did he get into a... Well, look, Draymond's not doing his job if he's not fighting somebody.
Yeah.
That's when he's at his best. Anyway, do the Rockets get even tonight, Scrabe?
No.
I don't think they do either. I think the Warriors win again. They're just better at this stage. Who scores more points tonight? Your guy, Paolo Banchero for Orlando, or your other guy, Donovan Mitchell for Cleveland? You know, they both can go off at any time. They both had 30-plus in their Game 1 wins. I've
never seen anyone ever do that.
That's Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
That was a great call by that Utah broadcaster
back when. That was one of our first drops.
One of our first ones, yeah.
Or Donovan Mitchell.
But I think you got to take Banchero. He lights it up. Mitchell does too, but Banchero, I'm taking him.
I'm going with my guy, Paolo.
Steph Curry over under 4.5 threes tonight. 4.5. He made in game 1 5 and 9. And a couple of them were just ridiculous.
Just Steph
like
Curry
you wouldn't
specials.
even guard the guy normally where he was.
Yeah, he just takes the shot and it goes in.
Goes right in.
It's got to be deflating.
I love when there's somebody all over him and he just flicks it up there. You know what I'm talking about? When he doesn't step into a shot, but he has to get it off because the guy's arm's way up and he just flicks it.
And it
goes all the way up.
The
and
strength
right on
of
through.
that guy. You know how far a pro 3-point line is?
Yes,
it's not
way
easy.
Out there.
It is not easy to get it to the basket.
For these guys, it is.
Yes. I'm going to go over under 4.5. I'm going to say under.
Going to go under tonight. Steph. He's magical. He'll go over again. This just in. Jason Tatum, obviously hurt by my words, will not play tonight for the Celtics. Out for game 2 with a wrist injury against the Magic.
We both picked the Magic.
Well, here I'm telling you this because if you happen to be a crazy gambler, the odds are still 10.5. You might be able to get in before they change.
Some of these sports books, though, they say,
I know,
the
they're
news
pretty
came
savvy.
out
I know.
before we were avoiding the bet.
They're very savvy. But anyway, you might be able to still get 10.5 before that changes. Kings hockey, 1.5 over Edmonton tonight. Game 2. I love the Kings, but I love Edmonton with a goal and a half, especially since they came from 4-0 down and nearly took game 1.
I'm going to go Edmonton.
Edmonton also. Dallas, Colorado series tied at 1, 6.5 goals total. This is the Stars, and this is the Avs.
That's a
lot
of goals.
Last game was 4-3 in overtime, so they did 7. First game was 5-1 Colorado, so they did 6.
So they
the odds tonight
goals.
are 6.5.
So what you're saying is the goalies stink.
I don't know that they stink, but it's up to you.
Shootout tonight over.
Yeah. They don't stink that bad. I'm going to go under. Cubs, Dodgers. That was a hell of a game last night.
That was really fun.
And thank you to the Cubs for pulling it out there. Miguel Amaya hits a 2-out homer off Tanner Scott.
Doesn't happen often.
Lands in the basket.
Yeah.
And the Cubs end up winning 11-10. What a crazy game that was.
Yeah.
Cubs have already, did you know they've scored 10 or more runs 7 times already this year?
I did see that.
The next most is 3 in the majors. The Cubs are just pouring it on right now.
They put like 16 on the Dodgers in LA.
Yeah, well, that was the game that Miguel Rojas pitched the last 2 innings, but I know what you mean. Tonight it's 9 runs. Certainly seems like it'll be over because the Dodgers are going with a bullpen night.
Ooh.
But you know what happened the last time they went with a bullpen
we don't
night?
want to talk about it.
I'm going to go under. Just take a shot in the dark. 9 runs. What do you think at Wrigley tonight?
At Wrigley,
you gonna go over?
I was watching them warm up. It looks like the wind is good.
Right.
I'm gonna go over.
Okay, and one last one. I put this in every night because I think it's a gimme, and I like to get one win. Kansas City Royals 1.5 over the Rocks in KC.
In KC,
the Rocks can't win, so you're basically.
I'm going Rocks.
What?
I'm going Rocks.
Lost your mind.
They have to win at some point.
They've won 4. Did you see the game last night?
I did not.
They were down 2-0 with 2 outs in the 9th, bases loaded, and their guy Stallings, the catcher for the Rockies, hit a 3-run double to give them the lead 3-2. But they blew the save in the 9th, lost it in the 11th. They can lose no matter what the circumstances. The Rockies.
That's a really depressing clubhouse.
4-18, baby.
That's really bad.
Thank you, Dick Monfort. All right. We'll take a break. I gave you the news. Tatum is out for tonight. for Boston fans. So that'll make that game a little more interesting. It starts in about a half an hour in Beantown. We take a quick timeout. Gwynn and Chris comes back. Oh, look who's on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Our guy. If we can tear him away from Chick-fil-A for 5 minutes.
Or Gunsmoke.
Kirk Kenny from the San Diego Union Tribune. He's probably doing both. He's probably eating Chick-fil-A, watching Gunsmoke. Kirk Kenny's next from the UT. A lot of good updates on Aztec football, which is starting to round into a season. So we'll see what he's got next. No show. Back to Gwynn and Chris. I think we're in pretty good spirits, honestly, Scraby, for on a day the Padres lost 6 rock.
What am I going to do?
Yeah, I don't know. We're just going to get ready for another game tomorrow. The Padres are still 17-8.
So.
Right.
Right.
We'll get ready for Friday. Tampa Bay's coming in. Here come the Rays.
Wow.
Can anybody name a Ray other than Hassan Kim? Name a player.
McClanahan.
Shane McClanahan. He is hurt.
Again?
And, yeah, he's nowhere near on the team. He's been out since the beginning of the year. He never made the squad because he's been hurt. Pete Fairbanks. I believe he's their closer, so I'm going to give you that one.
There's also Jose Cantana.
Cantana. Don't recognize that name.
He plays second base?
Second base, no.
Okay, I got to pull up my fantasy.
No, don't pull him up. Don't pull him up. I want you to guess a Tampa Bay Ray. I want you to know a Ray. That's not right.
Oh, Junior Caminero?
Junior Caminero.
No, I don't think that's him.
Correct. Third baseman, Junior Caminero. Leads them with 5 home runs this year.
I think he's a massive Manny fan. That's how I know that.
He's only 21 years old, Junior Caminero is.
I know Manny Margot's not there anymore.
The biggest slugger they have is a guy named Jonathan Aranda.
That's who I was talking about.
First baseman, he's got a 1098 OPS right now. But other than that, it is the no-name squad of the Tampa Bay Rays that'll be coming in here for the weekend. They haven't even named a starting pitcher for Friday night yet. Michael King will start for the Padres in the series opener. Just a quick reminder, the Pods are 12-1 at home.
Yeah. We're going to do a little bit of
They're not going to keep that up, though, unless some of these guys come back from injury. They're just not. No matter whether you're playing home or road, you still need, some guys. And they are missing too many of them.
They are missing too many of them.
So
they just need to keep it up at home. They'll be fine.
Okay. We'll see starting Friday night. We have the Padre Roundtable, an hour of commercial-free Padre talk tomorrow from 10 to 11. It replays from 4 to 5 in case you miss it in the morning. And then at 5 o'clock tomorrow night, Scraby and I are joined by draft expert Braden Surprenant. And if you don't think he's a draft expert, ask him. Because he knows. Braden knows his football, man.
He's a good call. He knows college football.
He's got it. So that's tomorrow night. All the NFL first-round draft coverage, 5 p.m. tomorrow.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Frozen Ropes San Diego. Hey, parents, here's a message from Coach Kurt with Frozen Ropes. Is your child 6 to 12 years old? Our baseball summer league is the perfect fit for your players starting June 16th through August 17th. Summer league includes 8 practices and 8 games. Register by April 30th and save $50. Go to SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com.
Well read.
Thank
Scraby.
you.
Well read.
I kind of want to go to Frozen Ropes one of these days and get into the cage and
take a couple of whacks.
I think I would be okay.
I gotta be honest with you. This is, at this stage, right? I mean, I've been, my best days are certainly behind me. A solid line drive, base hit to center field is a great feeling. And my Wednesday night softball.
It's like flushing a drive.
I gotta be honest. A straight 220 yarder that doesn't even move off the line.
On Monday, Chris hit
nice.
One that was
those are nice.
That was perfect.
Yeah,
it was perfect. And of course, because Chris is a golfer, it's could have been a little bit farther.
All right, yeah, you're always disappointed. That's the problem with golf. You or I could shoot a 72 and walk off the course and go, should have been a 70.
I missed that one putt.
Right. You can always be disappointed in golf. That's one of the issues that I have with the sport.
Very true.
Let's check traffic, and then Kirk Kenny will be along.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Islands Restaurants. Got a few problems here. One of them is a collision on South 5 right at the northbound 163. 2-car collision over the right shoulder. Could there be anything scarier than getting into an accident on the Coronado Bridge? Yeah, we've got one about mid-span heading off the island. Car and motorcycle involved. Left lane's blocked there. Northbound 5 at Cannon Stall Big Rig taking up that right lane. And in the East County West 8 before Mullison. Collision over to the right shoulder. Ready for a delicious escape? The new Islands Restaurant's $10 protein bowls are your ticket. Packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients. They're only here for a limited time, so enjoy one today. Visit islandsrestaurants.com. I'm Kelly Danek with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's get to one of our guys, reporter at large out there. He's so good to us on the program, and we're always glad to have him on. In fact, it's been too long. It's been too long.
Well, there's been no Aztec football to talk about.
I know. I ran into him in the press box, though, about 3 weeks ago. So I got my Kirk Kenny update then.
You know, I have a great time when I go to games too, and Kirk's there. We sit next to each other. We have good chats. I enjoy my time with Kirk Kenny.
Well, let's have some more time with him. From the San Diego Union Tribune, Kirk joins us here. How are you today, sir? Are you pulled over to the side of a road somewhere? Or are you at home comfortable for a change?
I'm pulled over in the parking lot of the Vineyard Golf Course, ready to hit the driving range.
Oh, he is always pulled over somewhere.
The Vineyard. Have you ever played Vineyard, Chris?
I don't think they'd allow me on that nice of a course.
No, you would definitely be allowed. The back nine is tough, though.
Kirk Kenny and I played my one time playing Torrey Pines. Kirk was my playing partner that day.
That's right.
So
I think I inspired him to break 100.
We barely made it, and I think we had to do a little little winter rules here and there to make the 100 at Torrey Pines.
It was the winter.
It was the winter, yes. Kirk, give us a little update. We haven't talked a lot of Aztec football. I think a lot of us remember that the quarterback has moved on after, the freshman season with Danny O'Neill. I think some people felt some type of way about that. Like, Sean Lewis invested his football program in him, gave him a year, let him start. And now, off he goes. So is that just collateral damage in this day and age of college football? And how is the new Aztec coach coping with that?
Well, it's funny. You're sad one day, and the next day they get a couple. Not the next day. A couple weeks later, they get a couple transfers. Coincidentally, both from Michigan. Jaden Denegal from Michigan and Bert Emanuel Jr. from Central Michigan. And these guys are both very athletic, and I think the Aztecs are going to be even better served at quarterback than they were last year.
Okay. That's a good start.
It's a very good start.
That's good to know. Let's talk about the portal time, though, is now for college football. Is this – I get confused because I know the basketball portal's been going for the last month. Now the football program is losing in your story today in the paper, talking about some of the guys that have exited the program. Yes?
There are 8 guys have gone in the portal. Most of them were redshirt freshmen. And you're right, it's confusing, crazy, especially for football. There's 2 portal windows. There's one in December.
Oh,
and
that's
another one
right.
right now in April.
Yeah.
And
okay.
As some of the coaches say, why would you have 2 periods of free agency? The upside of it is you can just finish spring football, and if you still see that you have a couple areas you want to maybe help yourself, you can hop in the portal and do that. And most of these guys who are leaving, I think they weren't going to be on the 2 deep, so maybe they just saw that, hey, I don't know how much future I have here. If I want to really go play and have a chance, I'm probably going to have to do it elsewhere. And I think the Aztecs, once everything's said and done, will be better after we get through this portal period, because I think they'll pick up some guys that maybe can actually get on their 2 deep or make an impact for them.
Talking to Kirk Kenny, San Diego Union Tribune, about the Aztecs football team. And last year, the offense, we heard about Fast. I think it's called Aztecs Fast. I didn't see much of, I guess, an improvement on offense. How is Coach Lewis going to improve the offense this year? Because I don't know that he can go another year with the offense looking like it did last year.
I would think it has a chance to be improved. For one thing, you've got several guys back who are more familiar with the system now because they've been through it for a year. There have been a few changes, like we've said, at quarterback, but you're bringing in guys who are veterans or juniors. You're going to have some new running backs. One guy to mention is Lucky Sutton, who played at Cathedral High School. He looks like he could be the starter there. So that's something for local fans to keep an eye on. They've got a couple new wide receivers, but their top returners are a guy named Jordan Napier, who had a breakout season last year as a freshman.
Yeah, he did.
So I think there's the potential to be improved. And just watching spring practice, I saw a lot of good things happening. So we'll see how they put that together.
Aztecs Sean Lewis in his first season started out 3-3. And, I think we liked what we saw, especially in a couple of come-from-behind wins against Hawaii and Wyoming. And then it all kind of changed, I thought, in that seventh game, Kirk. They had I think it was a 2-touchdown lead over Washington State, which would, turn out to be a really good team this year. Ended up coming back here for the Holiday Bowl. But that game got away from them in the fourth quarter. And then they just never really got it going after that, end up losing their last 6 ball games. What has Sean Lewis's message been throughout the offseason to his players and to his fans and to his supporting the people that want to support this program? Because I know, at least I get the vibe that people are, kind of down on Aztec football. And, I don't want them to be. You got to give the guy a little time here.
Yeah, the one thing they've done this year is I think they're trying to create more of a cohesiveness, more of a bond among the players. That's another symptom of all the movement is you don't have guys who've kind of been in the system 3 or 4 years or even 5 for a fifth-year senior like you used to. So they had something they call Earn Your Colors, where when guys first got here back here in January to start training, they were just in a white shirt and black pants, no logos, and it's like you had to earn your red and black and that Aztec logo. And they've carried that, I think, into the showcase here last week. It wasn't a true scrimmage. It was more of some games and then a little 7-on-7, and it was very light and fun and more. It looked like more of a team bonding kind of deal, which I know some fans were a little down on, especially some of the longtime hardcore ones. They just wanted to see a scrimmage. But I'm trying to be more of a not the get off my lawn guy. That hey, here's how we've always done it, and this is what we're expecting. And be, more loose about, maybe this isn't exactly the way I'd do it, but who's to say that they're wrong? I remember last year when they were doing some recruiting and they're putting cars on the football field for kids to have their picture taken in front of them. And I'm like, why is that such an exciting thing? But maybe I guess it is.
Kids like it, right? Yeah.
I remember Danny O'Neill with that Ferrari behind him on the field. Yeah. Anyway, we're talking to Kirk Kenny.
Drove it off to where did he go? Wisconsin.
Yeah. He drove it through the winter to Wisconsin.
Well, that's a team I can root against this year now.
Yeah.
And if they get to keep the car that they're posed against, okay, I can get it. But
that's fair. Yeah, that would be nice too.
For a photo op, that's a little different.
Yeah, I think so. We're talking to Kirk Kenny, San Diego Union Tribune, about the Aztecs football team. And you were saying in your article, I felt that from your article about what happened last weekend where they were playing games instead of like doing a traditional scrimmage. I felt that you were trying to embrace it. I don't know if the fans are going to get behind this fully, because you were also saying that season ticket sales have not been good for the Aztecs football team and they're not getting better. Is it just purely because they are so expensive, or is there something else at play here?
I think ultimately it starts with the price. I think the tickets are overpriced, and I've said that for 3 years. But also you're coming off a couple down years. So I think people, in fact, I've seen a couple of people say they're like from Missouri now, that show me before I'm going to buy your tickets. And
yeah,
they need to have something proved to them. I don't know. The scrimmages, I would like to see that because I can get a better idea of who they think are the top guys. But at the same time, I think they're trying to draw some newer fans, younger fans. There were a lot of younger fans there that got autographs and got to interact with players and things. Those guys had a great time. But some of the people who stayed away, I think they're more the older people who are, a little bit disgruntled over what they've seen the last few years. And they just, it wasn't what they've seen in the past. And so they weren't showing up. But the one thing I would say is with the game, some of it, the dodgeball was kind of fun to watch. The tic-tac-toe, I think they need to get more reps. From what I understand of the game, you need to really go for the center square first, and they didn't tend to do that. So I think they have a little work there.
Well, hopefully they're more focused on football. It is pretty funny how people memories are really poor. Let's be honest. 2021, the team was 12-2, one of the greatest seasons they've ever had. Won a bowl game, lost the championship game of the conference because they had a COVID outbreak and the entire team couldn't play. But other than that, It was an incredible year. 2022, they were in a bowl game, 7-6. And then, Brady had a bad season, and now Sean Lewis is trying to take over. they're not that far removed from being good, but people are like, oh, we think the program's so bad. And I just don't think people are being 100% fair to them. Let me ask you this. The transfer portal and the recruiting process and the NIL money that you have to pay out, et cetera. The Aztecs, from what I understand, Kirk, are doing a really good job at raising money and getting more and more money to put toward NIL deals for these kids. The problem is, again, from what I understand, they keep getting more money, but so does everybody else. So the goalpost keeps getting moved further back. And every time the Aztecs think they're closer to getting, some top players, another school still has more money. I mean, is that categorizing it correctly, kind of where things stand in that regard?
Well, I think in some ways, but it depends also who you're comparing them to. They're all Division I, but Ohio State and Michigan and Nebraska and those and SEC teams, they have a lot more money to work with. And I just don't think those are who the Aztecs are competing with. They should be focused on the current Mountain West teams and those who are going to the Pac-12 next year. And are they competitive financially with those? And I think by and large they are. So there's still a road to the playoff if you can somehow win the Mountain West or the Pac-12 next year. Then the question is, you get to really see where you stand if you then go into the playoff and you play, like I say, great, you win and you make the playoff, and then you get to go lose to Georgia 63-14.
Yeah. Well, Boise State hung around, certainly, with Penn State.
Yeah.
I thought they gave a very good account of themselves last year, but that was also a very good Boise State team. Speaking of the Pac-12, is there anything new, Kirk? I'll give you the stage on that question, which you probably get, every 5 minutes.
I've been listening, and all I hear is crickets. And, it's concerning because where did we hear this before? A year to 2 years ago, before the Pac-12 broke up, they kept saying, oh, yeah, it's imminent, and it never came along. This one, I think, will end up happening. Everybody's really keyed into what's the dollar amount going to be, because I've heard some people say if it's around $10 million, okay, that works. But if it's only around $5 million, to me, it's like, what did you really get for moving to this new conference?
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope that all works out well. We'll keep our fingers crossed for Sean Lewis, who I think is a terrific guy. And I think he's the right guy to lead this thing. And I hope people will give him a little chance. I mean, look, he had a little something going last year. It kind of got away at the end. Doesn't mean they can't get it going again this year.
I'd rather him try new things than just do what he did in the past. I think it's a symptom of
society, though.
It is.
It's like you guys were just talking about, the Padres lost yesterday. And people live and die moment by moment instead of kind of giving something a chance to breathe and see what's unfolding, rather than, just going off because there's a bad inning or a bad game. And I think the same with this is you need to give somebody time to kind of do what they're going to do. Now, like this spring showcase, if they go out and they still don't have a very good season, then maybe they should have done more than just play games. But for people to make a snap judgment right now, I think it's a little early to do that.
I got to believe that whatever you did at the spring showcase should have little effect on how the team is going to perform.
Anything with
August.
Spring in it doesn't mean it translates.
The first game is 5 months away, for heaven's sakes.
Well, I can't tell you how many times, like, a guy had a wide receiver had a breakout spring game, and then he had 3 catches the following fall. And it's like, what does it really
all the
tell
time? Yeah.
Nothing, Kirk.
100% correct. Kirk Kenny is our guy, Aztec football and every other fun stuff. Check in whenever you like, Kirk. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for your time.
All right. Thanks, guys.
There he goes, Kirk Kenny, and you can go hit golf balls now, Kirk. Hit them straight. Look, I mean, of course, I'm going to support the Aztec football team. I mean, I went to San Diego State. I'm not like a lot of people out there, and I think there are a lot of people who kind of end up rooting against their own team, like, because they're just kind of miserable about it. And it's like, well, I told you so. And this team is that, and they don't play an exciting this, and their brand of football is not good. You know what? I still root for San Diego State. If they went 0-12, I'd be just as big of a fan. I know that doesn't sound, right?
Sounds hard to do, but I get it.
But I watched every game last year, even up to 3-8, 3-9. I tune in. I support these guys, these kids. They go out and work hard every week to play these games, and I'm a San Diego State fan. I think as a fan, you got to go through some bad and you get good too. It's not like the Aztecs haven't given you any good in the last 15 years. They gave you a 10-year run that was pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah.
So, the last couple of years haven't been good, but that doesn't mean you jump off the ship, I don't think.
Is watching Aztecs football 3-8 at the end of the year your form of self-torture? Because that sounds pretty brutal.
I am just a fan of my team.
I get it.
I like to watch my teams play, and the Dolphins don't play a lot of important games these days. But if they're on, I'll still tune in. That's just what I do, and I think that's what fans should do, to be honest. All right, we got Chris versus the fans coming up next. Chance to play a little trivia. Go to Vegas. Hope you're enjoying it today. We are having a good old time. Chris Hello, Matt Scraby, together in our Odyssey Palace studios. It is Gwynn and Chris. Tony, of course, working his way back to San Diego with the Padres. Off day tomorrow. Tony will be in full, well, not a full show, but a full staff on the show.
Yep.
From 2 to 4 tomorrow. Tony will be in studio with us as the Padres are idle. The excitement on 97.3 The Fan starts tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., of course, with Ben and Woods. I don't want to forget about that. But you and I kick into gear at 10 a.m. with the Padre Roundtable from 10 to 11. It replays again from 4 to 5. Those of you who miss it in the morning. And then at 5 o'clock tomorrow night, Scraby and I welcome in Braden Surprenant for NFL draft coverage. Round 1. Tennessee Titans are on the clock.
And they're not interested in trading the number 1 pick. Someone on the chat made a good point. Why does the number 1 pick need time on the clock? Yes, you can work out a trade if you really want to. You have 6 months to figure this out. Just go up, Roger Goodell.
Don't the teams always look like they're still sweating it out?
They take it down to the final second. It's like, you were going to take Cam Ward the minute you got the number 1 pick.
All right. That'll be tomorrow night, our NFL draft coverage.
I think fantasy drafts have ruined the time thing for me because there are too many people out there in fantasy football drafts that take the whole clock for no reason. Sorry.
I hate when they take the whole clock and you're sitting there on your phone or computer and you're like, is the person there? Like, we're so impatient. We don't even have the 30 seconds that we give the person to do the draft choice.
Because the 14th round, you're just picking a guy, hoping that something happens with the guy. He's probably not going to finish the year on your team.
Taking my full 30 seconds on those picks, that's how you win the league, Scrabe.
Oh, my goodness. It drives me insane.
It does. Padres were driven insane by the Tigers. Reese Olson today. He held them to 2 singles, both by Jose Iglesias. Padres are shut out by the Tigers 6-0. First time this year the Padres have been blanked. They come home with a record of 17-8, which still has them on pace for 102 wins. So we'll take that, even though there is some disappointment. The Mets beat the Phillies in extras today 4-3. So the Mets now take over baseball's best record at 18-7. Padres are a game back. Easy.
I got 14 more seconds of this.
Don't shoot the messenger. Dodgers are a half game behind the Padres. They're getting started at Wrigley Field against the Cubs here momentarily. 1 score to pass along because why not? You're probably in the mood for some more bad news. James Wood, solo homer, leading it off tonight, his 8th already of the year. I was going to say,
how many is that now?
I know. That trade's looking worse and worse.
No, we got Michael King.
True. But
through a couple of years.
Through a couple of things, yeah. But James Wood is making us really grit our teeth now. Josh Bell's also homered, a 2-run shot. The Orioles pitching right now is just awful. 3-0 Nats over the O's in the early going. Their NBA playoffs kick back off here shortly with Boston hosting Orlando. No Jason Tatum tonight. He's out with a wrist injury. All right, Scraby, that's everything I have. Now it's time for you to set the stage for today's matchup in Chris versus the Fans.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
And I got a couple things to say real quick. If you love Mediterranean food, try Spiros for authentic Mediterranean cuisine.
You don't need to tell me that.
Or La Jolla.
I don't need to tell me that.
For dining or takeout options, visit SpirosCuisine.com. Also, if you're a Scrabinator and you've signed up for the Scrabinator game, there may or may not be Spiros for us to eat that day. So
we love
just keep that in mind,
man. They'll if they can take care of you, they will.
They do
know that.
They do.
You know
they
that,
do.
Scrape.
All right, you're playing for these 2 things. You will be qualified for a grand prize of 2 tickets to either Disturbed, Ghost, or Pantera in Las Vegas, plus a 2-night stay at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas and a $150 gift card. Get tickets for all 3 shows now at Ticketmaster.com, and you will also win the first pair of 2 pairs today to Hart at Pachanga. Why did I forget how to say this word? Pachanga Arena on August 13th.
The great music group Heart.
Yes, someone had an issue with your drummer yesterday.
They didn't have an issue. It was my lead guitarist, and Nancy Wilson is the lead guitarist.
Oh, not drummer, yeah.
Nancy Wilson is the lead guitarist for Heart, but they also have a secondary lead guitar. As a front
but
line
there was
guitarist.
Secondary.
They're both lead guitarists. I gave you Nancy Wilson. The listener called in with another option, which was acceptable, but it's okay.
Okay, tickets are on sale now.
Okay, Scrape.
At AXS.com. I was leaving the building and I saw it pop up and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Bearer of misinformation.
No, I wasn't.
All right. Let's get started with I need to give you the rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before you get into it, and you will get that question for free today. All right,
let's start. 2 quick notes that you're going to like.
Okay.
Shohei Ohtani stepping into the batter's box right now for the Dodgers against the Cubs.
New dad.
6 for his last 36.
Oh.
Hitless in 5 of his last 8 games. Just a quick note for the new dad.
What is Major League Baseball going to do when their star player can't do anything?
I know you just love when.
The problem is he's going to hit like 35 home runs in 12 games or something.
Well,
he's that
only
good.
got 6 right now. He's only got 8 RBIs. He also bats leadoff. But anyway, here's the other note that I like. Mike Trout. People talking about how great Trout is this year. He's got 8 home runs. He's done this, that, and the other.
He has 8 RBIs, right?
He's also batting 177 right now, Mike Trout.
He's on my fantasy team.
I'm not saying it's the end for Mike Trout. I'm saying that is a pretty slow start for a guy of his caliber, even though he's got 8 homers.
Yeah, but he doesn't have anybody on base anytime he hits a homer.
He's got 16 RBIs.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's not that bad.
That's better than I thought.
Okay.
All right, let's go to our first contestant. Let's go to Ken. Hello, Ken.
Ken, you're up.
What's going on, boys?
We're just
hanging out,
chit-chatting here.
All right, you ready to play?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go, Ken.
First question. What was the name? You should be listening. You may. Let me start this over, Chris. You will know this if you're listening in the last 5 minutes.
It always helps when you're listening. Yes.
What was the name of the pitcher who beat the Padres today? I'll take last name.
Fair question. Shut them down today.
Yeah, you just said it. I don't know.
Oh,
he doesn't have it.
Defeated. Unfortunately, Chris knows this.
Reese Olson, who's married.
Sorry, Ken.
Who's married to Mrs. Olson, which is only funny because Mrs. Olson was used to push Folgers coffee back in the old days on advertising.
Who's Mrs. Olson?
And she was the old-looking lady who was the Folgers coffee lady. Hey, it's Mrs. Olson. One of those ads.
Oh, hey, Mrs. Olson.
Right. So
okay.
I don't know why.
Let's
go. Stuff like this.
Because you know what? There are people out in the cars going, "He's right."
Yeah, Mrs. Olson.
All right, let's go to Guy. Guy in Bay Park. Hello, Guy.
Hey, Guy.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Guy.
Second-time player.
First-time player.
I love it.
Second time.
Oh, second time.
Oh,
second time.
Player.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Guy.
That's all right. He's got a little echo there.
All right.
Here we go.
We're ready for question number 1. Where is the NFL draft being held this weekend? What city?
Tomorrow it starts, Screamy. Yeah. We're on it, man. Love the draft.
I don't know. Miami?
Oh,
welcome to Miami.
Did not know.
Chris, do you know?
I do. I'm posting the draft coverage. I should know this stuff. Green Bay, Wisconsin. Yeah. Sorry about that, Guy, but thanks for being a second-time player. We appreciate it.
Because everybody loves going to Green Bay. And
seems like an odd choice, but, they're just trying to look
They
out
went
for
to
them.
Cleveland. I think they went to Detroit. Detroit makes sense. I guess Green Bay makes sense, but
makes as much sense.
Not
as
a real
Detroit.
big vacation spot, Green Bay in April.
It's the NFL. If they had the draft on Saturn, there would be people, in a Elon Musk spaceship going to Saturn
they probably
for the draft.
Would.
So
sponsored by SpaceX.
Exactly.
All right, let's go to who haven't we talked to in a while? Let's go to Steven in Spring Valley. Hello, Steven.
Hey.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
First place. This is
four-time loser.
Four-time loser.
At least you're honest, Steven. It's the first guy that's ever called up and said he's lost this game before. You ever noticed that? People always call in. They win every time.
I get messages saying their record is like 0 for 10.
All right.
Something like
Good
that.
luck, Steven.
All right, here we go, Steven. Question
Spring
number
Valley,
1.
first place I ever lived. Little trivia. That
Is there a sign that said Chris Ello lived here?
There is not.
Okay. Who is today's losing pitcher for the Padres?
Again, we're going to today's game.
Oh, that would be, oh, God.
It's the same as the name of
Hart.
he got it.
There
Hart.
you
I was going to
go.
say the same as the name of a musical group that we're giving tickets away.
Oh, that's a good point.
Hart.
Yeah.
That's a
Kyle
good
Hart
point.
was the loser.
Yes.
Good one, Steven.
Yep.
You pulled it out. You stayed alive.
Here we go. Question number 2. What NFL team does DK Metcalf now play for?
That's a tough one. I'm struggling.
Minnesota.
Stay there.
I thought it was Pittsburgh, but when he said Minnesota, I thought I was wrong. So I'll stay with Pittsburgh. I know he signed somewhere. Nah,
He's a
sorry,
Steeler.
Steven. All right, keep playing, Steve.
He's
It'll go your way.
He's a Steeler.
It'll go your way. Hang in there.
Chris, give me a number.
4.
Eric in San Diego. Hello, Eric.
Hey, Eric.
I have also never won.
Okay, all right.
We're getting this is the most honest group of players
I
we've
love
ever
it.
had. I'm so excited.
If I could call it the tournament of losers without it
no,
being like
it's
mean.
not. Don't say that.
No. All right, Eric, here we go. Question number 1. Who is now the head coach of the Raiders?
Well said.
Yeah. I'm going to defer that to Chris. I'm not sure.
Defer to Chris. Chris, who is the head coach of the Raiders?
I'm pretty sure it's Pete Carroll. Dang.
This is
I'm
why
kind
I
of on a
use
roll
easy
right now.
easy question ones, Chris.
I know, but people aren't getting them today, so
All right.
got to keep working.
Ooh, Anonymous just called in, but I'm not going to answer Anonymous.
We'll get to Anonymous shortly, but who's up next?
Let's go.
I don't have a screen, by the way, today.
Oh, give me a number.
Give you actually just got a screen because
Oh.
I punched the thing.
Okay.
I like number 5.
Number 5.
I do.
Andy. Hello,
Yeah.
Andy.
Because Andy likes to play Take on Woods. Have you ever won Take on Woods, Andy?
Have not.
Yeah,
You have
from
not
what I
won
hear,
that?
it's
That
very,
seems like a
very
tough game.
difficult.
I've tried it a couple times in the car, and I don't do very well.
I am the worst music person in the world. I would be out before I even started. All right, Andy.
Great in the car, but whenever I play him, I get smoked.
It usually happens that way. All right, Andy. Here we
Good
go.
luck here. Good luck here.
Question number 1. What team won the NBA title last season?
Oh, God. NBA. Horrible at that.
Fair.
Give it to Chris, because I really don't know.
Oh, no.
You should guess a team because he knows it.
Yeah, at least guess the team.
Okay.
Take a shot. I mean,
What?
Timberwolves.
Say Timberwolves, you said?
Timberwolves.
Timberwolves, yeah.
They actually got to the Final Four, so that's not bad.
Oh,
guess.
that's true. I didn't think about that.
It was the Celtics. No joy. For
Sorry,
any of
Andy.
us. Sorry, Andy. Man, we're running through these first
All
two
right,
questions.
we're
here.
going with tiebreaker, and it's going to be about Nick Pivetta.
The only good thing for you is you didn't use any second or third questions today.
I'm
I think
really
everything was
upset. I have a
question.
really great third question that I was very excited to
Well,
use, but
you'll
I
get
will
it.
have to use it another day.
You'll get it another day.
All right, we're going to go. Let's go with David. Hello, David.
Oh, hey, David.
Hello, guys. 5-time loser, 1-time winner.
5-time loser, 1-time winner.
I thought he said
appreciate it.
lifetime loser.
No,
no.
never.
Only 5 times. Okay, good.
All right, David. Tiebreaker. I'm going to ask Chris for a number. He's going to give me the number. You're going to guess if the actual number is higher or lower than what Chris said.
Okay.
Chris, how many strikeouts does Nick Pivetta have in his career, his 9-year career?
He's been around 9 years, huh?
2017 his first year.
I'm going to say 100 would be about an average. So that would give him 900. But, he seems like a little better than 100. I'm going to give him 1,000.
1,000 strikeouts?
Yeah, I'm going to give him 1,000.
All right, David, is the actual answer higher or lower than 1,000 strikeouts?
We go lower.
Lower. Incorrect, David.
Don't tell me he climbed over the mark last night.
No. He's way over.
Oh, he is.
He's 1,169 strikeouts.
He's a good strikeout.
For all the crud that he took about his numbers, he struck out in the last 4 seasons with the Red Sox 175, 175, 183, 172. That's good numbers right there.
Really good, and he's certainly on pace to equal or better that this year.
Yeah, he's already got 30 this year.
Very good.
All right, here we go to one of my favorite players, Bernice. Hello, Bernice.
Hey, Bernice.
Hi, you guys.
Hello, Bernice. Every time I see Bernice, I have to take her call. So I'm going to put you on hold, Bernice, real quick, and then I'm going to ask Chris a question.
I have a quick note before we get to Bernice.
What's that?
Yesterday, there was a nicest lady came in to pick up some tickets over here.
Oh, Jocelyn.
And when she left, she came in and introduced herself. You introduced her. She was very nice, great listener to the program. As she was leaving, I said, make sure you're listening. I'll give you a shout out.
You never did.
I didn't tell her when.
So now is the time?
I'm giving you your shout out now, Jocelyn.
I do remember you saying that.
Yeah, I did. I said, I give you a shout out, but I didn't say when.
I totally forgot about that.
Jocelyn, thanks for coming by and saying hi yesterday.
It was very impromptu. She was picking up KSON
tickets for another
Country
station.
Fest or whatever,
Right.
Stagecoach, and she was on the YouTube and typed, I'm in the lobby.
Very good. Anyway, thanks, Jocelyn, for coming by.
Yes.
Okay, and now one of my other favorites,
Bernice.
Here
Yes,
we
Bernice.
go.
All right, Bernice.
Who I met at the Western Metal Supply Company building.
That's right.
A season or two ago.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
All right. How many hit by pitches has he he thrown in his
career?
Yeah.
In 9 years?
In 9 years. I don't even know what like an average hit by pitch number is.
Seems like one a year would be a pretty good
Really?
average. Maybe 2.
Okay.
I'll say 18. 20.
20 hit by pitches.
20 hit by
Bernice,
pitches. That's
actual
crazy.
answer, higher or lower?
Wait, who is it again?
Oh, Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta.
Everybody's favorite new pitcher.
How many?
Hit by pitches. Is it over 20 or under 20?
Oh, I'm going to say over 20.
Over 20.
Over 20. You are correct.
Hey, Bernice.
See, I appreciate Bernice's reaction to winning. So, Bernice, you stay there.
I appreciate it too, but I'm going to need to check in some new eardrums.
you already to say that she pierced your ears or split your eardrum
Not
is,
true
is a
because
lot.
I already listened to my.
I know.
My ears are already bad. Good job, Bernice. Stay on the line. You could be going to Las Vegas. I'm happy for you.
Oh,
Bernice.
it's 31 by the way.
Well done. 31 hit by pitches.
Yes, only had one last year.
Okay.
He's had 5 or more 4 times in his career.
Don't know a lot about the history of hit by pitches. Like
Austin
but didn't
Adams.
Austin Adams break the record?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he did with like 20 something
that year. He was.
That's almost hard to do.
It wasn't with the way he threw that curveball. Remember that thing used to sweep halfway around the stadium and come back and hit the batter.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. Bernice is a winner. More Gwynn and Chris on the way. Stick around after traffic.
From the 8.
All right, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. Austin Adams, Padres 2021 season, hit 24 batters. That is the record. He also was the first pitcher ever to hit more than 20 in less than 50 innings. He was a reliever, remember.
I'm not laughing at him. I'm just like, that is a perfect storm of events to get him this record.
I don't think he's proud of it.
I mean,
but
would you be?
Well, here's the one way I would be proud of it. He had so much movement on his pitches that, it was hard to control them properly. And he didn't he didn't hit guys with fastballs.
No, it was all sweepers.
It was all that sweeper, the curve, the slider, etc. Yeah. So I just think it was such great movement. So there you go, Austin. I'm actually proud of your record. I'm sorry you're not. I don't think he is. Welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. I mentioned earlier, well, first of all, the Celtics and the Magic, a little NBA action with no Jason Tatum playing tonight. Celtics the Magic have the lead, just changed, 17-16 Orlando. They're obviously in the first quarter there. I'd have a real story if that was a third quarter score.
That would be
17-16, middle of the third quarter. No, first quarter. But no Jason Tatum. So opportunity knocks, for the Magic here to try to get a win and even up the series. That's what the Lakers did last night. They got even with Minnesota. And I thought the Lakers played well, and they played with the kind of, passion and effort that they needed that was lacking in game one. And having said that, why is your effort ever lacking? In a playoff game.
Yeah.
Like JJ Redick was like, we got to play harder. We got to play with more passion. We got to play with more desperation. We got to do that. I'm like, okay, but where was that? Why would you not have that in game one? Did you not tell them, or did they, not get it? Because the Lakers didn't play with any of that stuff in game one, got blown out of the game.
I hate the one thing I hate about pro sports is having to motivate professional athletes.
Steve Fisher's great. One of his great quotes, and he's got a lot of them, but one of Steve Fisher's best ones is, "Don't make me coach effort."
Yeah.
Go out and have effort. Don't make me coach that. And JJ Redick had to coach that in between games 1 and 2. So, Doncic was, really good last night, 31. and 12 boards. LeBron was solid, really solid. 21 and 11. Most of the shots he missed were kind of after the game had been decided. I thought Austin Reeves gave you a good game. We talked about the Laker bench. They got outscored 43-13 in the first game. Well, last night, the Laker bench, again, only scored 13. The difference was that the Minnesota bench only scored 19 instead of 43. Some people, not naming names, but people who are kind of conspiracy theorists like you, might point out the fact that Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo, the top players off the Minnesota bench, were both saddled with 4 fouls like 5 minutes into their time on the court. Yeah. Wonder about that, huh?
You know, it would be really good for TV ratings if the Lakers could somehow go 7.
Wouldn't want the Lakers to be going down 2-0, would you?
I mean, baseball's already crying about the Dodgers and
just pointing it out. Some people did point that out. The Minnesota's big bench guys were basically taken right out of the game. But the refs did not shoot 5 for 25 from 3, which Minnesota did after making 21 threes in the first game. That's why I say the Lakers didn't play great. Minnesota just played a lot worse. So we'll see how that series goes along. We got to take a break. Big Fives next on Gwynn and Chris.
Gwynn and Chris on the Fan.
fixated on this Austin Adams hit by pitch record of 24 batters in one season, set with the Padres in 2021. Going into that season, in 5 years as a major league pitcher, Austin Adams had hit exactly 2 guys.
Oh, wow.
And then all of a sudden, in 1 year, he had 24.
What the heck happened?
I don't know. Broke the record.
Pitching Whisperer wasn't here yet.
No. Ruben Niebla. He'll get a mention later when we do our notes on a scorecard.
I think I know why, too.
About today's game, Padres lost to the Tigers 6-0. The new and popular segment, Notes on a Scorecard, is coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Boston 23, Orlando 21. End of the first quarter, NBA playoff. Dodgers, Cubs scoreless in the third. Scraby, take me to traffic and then into today's Big Five.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Crystal Geyser, Alpine Spring. We just can't seem to catch a break on our roads this afternoon. Now an accident blocking middle lane, South 805 before the 163. Also, South 805 past San Ysidro Boulevard. Got a stalled vehicle in the middle lanes. Southbound 5 right before Cesar Chavez Parkway. Crash blocking the fast lane. And on the Coronado Bridge, heading off the island right before the 5. Accident blocking the right lane. Couple vehicles involved. Watch out for some wood debris in the 2 left lanes. Eastbound 54 right before Briarwood Road. Sweetwater Springs Boulevard off-ramp, westbound 94 blocked as emergency crews clear an accident. And we still have that stalled semi blocking the right lane, North 5 coastline near Cannon. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, it's been a really long time. Chris, if you could fix your camera. It's been a really long time since we've done a Big Five, it feels like. So hopefully I'm not out of touch with things.
Rusty?
A little rusty, maybe. But we do have a really juicy topic that I've been saving all week because we haven't been able to talk about it.
Number 5.
And we're even going to have to get Tony's opinion on this tomorrow if we can fit it in, because what's going on with the Braves right now? All I got to say is I'm glad that the Padres aren't the Braves, because the Braves have had a tough year. Jurickson Profar, 80-game suspension. Started the year like 0-7. They have 10 wins now, which is kind of good.
They started 0-7. They've gone 10-7 since then.
So well, that's a little bit of a rebound.
10-14.
Now
your guy Spencer Strider injured himself playing catch.
Don't even start with me.
That's why I mentioned it, because I wanted to get you started.
The guy comes back from Tommy John, and then he's supposed to start last night, and he's on the 15-day IL because he did something to his hamstring playing catch.
These guys are I swear they're made of porcelain. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Is it his job to play catch?
I mean, I play catch all the time. I'm 100 years old. I don't pull any hamstrings. What's the matter with these people?
Now, one of the people in the fantasy baseball league is trying to get Spencer Strider from me, said, "Oh, that's baseball speak for his arm's not responding." And I said, his arm's fine. He somehow pulled his hamstring playing catch anyway.
And if Jackson Merrill's any indication, we'll see Spencer Strider sometime in August. Hamstring injuries, man.
I'm trying not to get mad about this Jackson Merrill thing. Yes, they do.
Hang on.
All right, well, this one has to do with Ronald Acuna.
That's not what we're talking about here, though. Okay,
no,
we're talking about Acuna.
Now, if you know anything about Ronald Acuna and the Braves, it's been kind of a rocky relationship at times. He hasn't run out some of the plays that he needs to run out before. Brian Snitker, the manager, has actually benched him before for not running out of play. It was in the playoffs. He hit one to the right field corner, and he could have easily gotten a double. He only got a single because he wasn't hustling. He thought it was a home run.
It was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
yes.
So he ended up getting benched for that, but he is not playing right now because he's continuing to rehab from a torn ACL. So Jared Kelenic current Braves outfielder, didn't hustle the other day. He got thrown out at second, and he did not get benched. So Ronald Acuna goes on Twitter and says, and I thought this was fake. I had to make sure this was real because it's kind of crazy. He said, if it were me, they would take me out of the game. That's Ronald Acuna commenting on Jared Kelenic and not being taken out of the game. Right. Now, he quickly deleted this, but this is causing waves.
It was up there long enough.
It was up there. Oh, 1 second is long enough, Chris, for someone to screenshot this.
Right.
But Jeff Francoeur, one of the guys who played for the Braves, also on the Braves broadcast, had this to say about everything that's happening in Atlanta with Ronald Acuna.
Jeff, what were your thoughts on all the stuff that transpired with that?
Is this an hour podcast or is this a call out?
10 minutes. You got 10 minutes. Let it fly.
Okay. All right. Let me start with this, okay? There are 26 guys in that locker room that are busting their ass every single day. Every single day. And they are taking crap from, let's be honest, all of us, all of national media. This team's a letdown. They were the second best pick to win the World Series and all this. And those guys are trying their butts off every single day. You finally get something going in your direction, and you got a guy who's supposed to be your teammate tweeting, probably out in LA, something that is completely meaningless and stupid. And guys, where's the tweets last week, the week before? Stick in there, boys. You know, let's grind this thing out. Where's that? Where's any of that? And so I actually saw where Ken Rosenthal wrote an article yesterday that I thought was the dumbest article I've ever seen. And so let's get context here first. Like anything to do with racism on this, that Brian Snitker's been in baseball 50 years. I saw him weep at Hank Aaron's funeral, for God's sake. It was the most.
All right, you know, he goes on about this for about 4 minutes.
So he's obviously on Ronald Acuna for making this tweet. His point being that Ronald Acuna should be supportive of his teammates.
While his teammates are struggling.
And the fact that somebody tried to point out racism, Ronald Acuna's black, Jared Kelenick's white.
Yes.
All right.
So, my question is,
yes,
is Ronald Acuna being a baby?
And I think he knew it. That's why he took it down. But I can understand him feeling some type of way because he had been benched for the very same thing 4 or 5 years ago. And he remembered that. Look, he didn't want to be benched, but he made a mistake and he was penalized for it. Kelenic made the same mistake in his mind, in Acuna's mind, made the same mistake, and absolutely nothing happened. He wasn't even taken out of the game he was in, let alone being benched for the following game. But when you hear the whole story, you find out that Brian Snitker was actually paying attention to something else, did not even see this play happen live.
Yes,
he was busy taking care of some other managerial
trying
duty,
to win a baseball game.
Trying to win a ball game. He did hear about it, and he did have a long talk with Kelenic about it, who, according to other people, say, was like breaking down in tears in the clubhouse. That he
the next morning he spent apparently 30 minutes crying in Snickers.
So
I don't know if he wanted that being revealed to everyone.
Well, it got revealed now. So it seems like they're slightly different in circumstances, but I'm going to go ahead and understand why Acuna was a little upset. And I think Francoeur is just trying to be holier than thou, sitting on his bully pulpit up there, ripping Ronald Acuna. And I don't think that's necessary. I think Ronald Acuna is a team guy, and I think he felt like for the good of the team, Kelenic should have got the same punishment he got. So I don't look at it as being petty at all. I'm on Acuna's side. There.
It's very interesting.
Take that.
For data.
Yeah.
I am on Francoeur's side.
Okay.
Because Ronald Acuna...
Obviously racist issue here.
No, he said it's not.
But Francoeur's white, Acuna's black. That's
yes. I am a racist because I am on Francoeur's side here. Let me just say this. I'm on Snitker's side.
You're obviously a fan of French people since Francoeur's nickname is Frenchie.
Is that true?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that.
He's from Georgia, but because his name was Francoeur, they called him Frenchie. I don't... Anyway,
here's where he goes on to say in that clip, and it's 4 or 5 minutes long. You can find it on Twitter, but he goes on to say that if you want to go farther into the Ronald Acuna thing, apparently he was warned time after time about running things out, and so after like the 10th time, Jeff Francoeur was saying they pulled him out of the game. Here's where Ronald Acuna Jr. is an MVP winner. He is a leader of this team, and you cannot be causing stuff like this when you were rehabbing. I think that if Acuna never tweeted this, We're not talking about it because no one even really notices
I
it.
agree with that. I agree with
So
that.
why is a teammate calling out another teammate on social media for not running something out instead of maybe texting him and be like, hey, bro, been there. If you want to talk, call me.
Because if you were suspended for doing something erroneous at this radio station, and then 2 years later, Paul Reindl did the very same thing and nothing happened, you'd feel some type of way. I think
Was I warned 10 times before?
I don't know. I'm just, I don't think Acuna thought everything through, and that's why he took the post down. He felt bad about it, but I can understand why he was, not provoked, but moved to doing it in the first place. I get it.
Last thing about this. At least we can all agree that Ken Rosenthal writes dumb articles.
Yes, and if you think whatever article he wrote was dumb, Frenchie, try some of the ones he wrote about the Padres last year.
Yeah,
Check
they
those
could
out.
definitely compete
check those
with
out.
that. All right.
Number 4.
The Dodgers have one of the most star-laden rosters in Major League history. However, when teams spend big money, they have to offset it with high costs everywhere else due to massive ticket prices in the playoffs, regular season, spring training. Well, the commissioner of baseball, Mr. Manfred, turned in an absolute baffling and pretty tone-deaf answer for Dodgers fans who cannot afford tickets to their favorite team's game. Per Bill Shaken of the Los Angeles Times. Quote, this is what Rob Manfred said. If local fans consider the Dodgers prices too high, Manfred suggested where they could find a cost-effective alternative. One of the leaders in terms of thinking about affordability has been the other Los Angeles team, Manfred said. So he's saying to Dodgers fans who would like to see baseball, go watch an Angels game. It's down the road.
I thought he was going to say move to Tampa.
You could do that too. I'm up first. Does Rob Manfred actually get how baseball works? And I know that he does. But in a sense, Chris, he does not understand how baseball works. You're telling fans that because their team is too high priced to go watch another team? That's not how it works. I want to go see the Dodgers. I don't want to go see the Angels. So Rob Manfred has he doesn't really get it. I don't actually think he's an actual baseball fan. He called the World Series trophy a hunk of metal. We all know about all the things that Rob Manfred has done. I am tired of Rob Manfred, and this is a ridiculous answer to say, hey, it's affordable over there. Just go watch baseball at Angels games. That's not a good answer for me. Chris?
It's a tone-deaf answer, but Rob probably hadn't had his second cocktail yet. Give him a chance.
Hey, Bill Shaken. Go see the Angels.
It's a tone-deaf answer to people who really can't afford a ticket. And Rob Manfred is not thinking of those people.
Yeah.
And that's a shame because they support the team and love the team just as much as those who can't afford a ticket. He's being honest in a lot of ways. Like the tickets cost a lot because your team spends a lot. So, you're going to have to go see another team, but it's a tone-deaf answer. It's a terrible answer. It's like telling an NBA fan who loves the Lakers to go watch a Clipper game. It's not right. So, Rob, here's to you, buddy.
Junior on the chat said, Scraby defending Dodger fans? Is this loving?
No, I think you're defending all fans.
Yeah, I'm defending all fans, and I'm also mad at Rob Manfred.
I think you're defending all fans that get told, if you don't like ticket prices so high, go elsewhere. Like, that's not what we want to hear. We want to go to the game.
I could go on about this for a long time.
I know, but you don't
know. Number 3.
Now, the Phillies, I'm convinced that each fan base is the same, just cheer for different teams, Chris, because the Phillies have not been great as of late, and they have gone, I believe it's now 3-7 in their last 10 after they lost today to the Mets. But Phillies analyst John Kruk was asked about the early skid. I'm going to play the whole thing because the question is in there and his answer is funny, so here it is.
You can't win the division or make the playoffs in April, but you can lose it in April. They've lost 3 straight for the first time this season. They got a .541 win percentage, which is on pace for 88 wins. Is it time to sound the alarm, or are we still, and by we, I mean all of us, are we still, it's early, it's 24 games in, we'll take them as they come?
Yeah, there's still, 130-something games left.
Ben does the math. I can't do the math.
Michael
gave up last year after 2 games.
Well, if that's a good jinx, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll fall on the sword. Go ahead, John.
I don't know how you make up 3 games and 130 games left, 130 something games left. It's going to be tough. It's when the season's winding down like it is. My God, what are we talking about?
Okay. All right. Kruk's hilarious to begin with, and I missed the guy on the national broadcast.
Yeah, he is pretty funny.
It's too bad that he's only Philadelphia's guy because he's really funny.
Here's my question, and it has to do with baseball people in general. Okay. Baseball people never panic during a baseball season. So my question to you, Chris, is why can't baseball people ever admit things are bad when they are bad?
Well, in the Phillies' case, they're not bad. The team's 13-12.
But they've lost
4 in a row.
Yeah.
They're 5-9 in their last 14 games. That isn't bad in baseball. That's a typical stretch in baseball. And somebody that's been in baseball understands that. Fans live and die with every breath. Players can't afford to. And neither can former players because that's what they're used to doing. That's your answer. There's no reason to panic. The Phillies have a really good team. Jordan Romano himself has lost like 6 of their 12 games. So, look, they're going to be fine. Aaron Nola's 0-5. Does everybody think that's going to hold up?
No.
Okay.
No, I get it. It's kind of annoying to me how baseball people think that they're so much better because they're not panicking. And I say that in jest, but it's okay to say, hey, they're playing pretty terrible right now. If they continue playing like this, it's not good. But baseball people always laugh at you. They always go, actually, hold on. Let me get this sound effect for you, Chris. I'm like, oh, man, Padres not playing so well. And then they just look at me and they go,
yeah, they do.
It's only 120 games to go.
I know. The fans are living and dying. We're living and dying, but we do have to keep a little perspective. Phillies are 5 games back at the Mets now since Kruk said that. But they do have 127 games chance to make that 5 games up. They're okay.
I get it. It's just the annoying responses all the time.
I know what you're saying.
Number 2.
The 2026 Rose Bowl, Chris, will move up by 1 hour, a time slot that it's likely to stick with going forward because there's one reason for it.
There's what?
One reason for it.
Television?
TV revenue.
Yeah.
The current college football playoff format offers 3 games on January 1st, with the Rose Bowl slotted in the middle. In recent years, competitive games have meant longer run times and even some overtime football, which put pressure on the day's final game, which usually is like the Sugar Bowl or something. Consistently late starts meant the East Coast viewers had to stay up longer, and they even led to some declining ratings of the bowl games.
Okay.
Chris, does moving this up 1 hour bother you at all?
I won't even notice it.
Now, the article I read that
How would I notice it?
was saying that one of the things about the Rose Bowl that's great is the sky that you see throughout the game when the sun is setting.
They don't show that on TV, so I'm not.
This person in this article is very upset that the sky is not going to be like that.
You know what? There's a sunset every day in this world.
But
Go
everybody
watch
wants
one
it to
tomorrow.
be the Rose Bowl football, January 1st, New Year.
It is. It's all of those things. Just the game that started an hour earlier. I'm okay with it.
I'm not okay with it because it's all because of TV.
All right. Well, if it wasn't for TV, you wouldn't get to watch 99% of the games you watch. So maybe you should like TV a little bit.
Maybe
more.
I still have one, but we can do it later. It's
All
about
right.
Edwin Diaz.
5 o'clock hour includes my notes on a scorecard. We will break down today's loss to the Tigers. Also got a fun trivia question for everybody and a chance to win some more tickets to see the great music group Heart. We'll also get you up to date on all the scoreboard stuff as Gwynn and Chris comes back with a happy hour.
All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the Beaver Nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name Beaver Nuggets very gross. I find it gross. but we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was just saying it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say, I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, "Are they cheesy?" No, they're not cheesy at all. Actually, they're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it, with dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All right, I gotta stop eating these because I will eat the whole bag. I love these things. I'm gonna leave them here though because I will eat this if I go home. It's just gonna be a bunch of Beaver Nuggets in my bed as I sleepwalk or something like that. All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the Beaver Nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name Beaver Nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was just saying it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say, I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, "Are they cheesy?" No, they're not cheesy at all. Actually, they're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it. With dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All right, I gotta stop eating these because I will eat the whole bag. I love these things. I'm gonna leave them here though because I will eat this if I go home. It's just gonna be a bunch of Beaver Nuggets in my bed as I sleepwalk or something like that. All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a
of Gwynn and Chris for this Wednesday. Coming up after this happy hour, things get a little more serious because Matt Scraby takes over, and it'll be the Chronicles, and he's a little cranky today. as the Padres lost.
I'm actually in a decent mood.
Not bad for a 6-0 loss. Yeah, we lost 6-0 to the Tigers today. 3 home runs hit by Detroit, 2 of them off Kyle Hart. And believe it or not, the Padre bullpen coughed up 4 runs today. That's might be a season high. I haven't gone through every game, but I would imagine the bullpen's had too many games where they're giving up more than, 4.
Honestly, today was the day if you're going to do it.
Yeah, it was the day. Hitting was not coming around at all.
No.
They had 2 singles, both by Jose Iglesias.
Yes.
Happy Hour is brought to you by GL Pools, the swimming pool experts, trusted by thousands of San Diegans. Since 2006, baseball's back. So is swim season. Call now, mention the word radio, get a free month of pool service. A couple of updates on the scoreboard. And then even though this is the happy hour, I honestly have some sad news to share. And I will do that momentarily. Dodgers lead the Cubs 2-0 in the 4th. Teoscar Hernandez, a 2-run single for L.A. Dodgers are going with a bullpen day. So far, so good. Bullpen days always seem to work for the Dodgers. I hate to say.
Never works for anyone else.
No. And not only should it not work today, but it should mess up their rotation for like the rest of the, next 2 weeks.
It doesn't, though.
But it doesn't seem to affect the Dodgers. Dodgers are now a half game back of the Padres as play begins in this game. So
I do have news on Dodgers rotation.
What, forever?
Well, Blake Snell has been shut down by the Dodgers. He is not going to return to pitch here for
anytime
the foreseeable
soon.
Future. That's what they said today. Said he's still dealing with some stuff. And so he's going to be on the IL for a little bit longer. I hate to say it, but I think we did call it that there would be long IL stints for Blake Snell to start the year.
This is going to come out meaner than it is intended to. But Blake Snell is easily the worst 2-time Cy Young Award winning pitcher ever.
What do you mean by worst?
No, he's the worst who's won it twice.
The
reason he's won 2, and in those 2
I was
years,
because I can name a lot of bad pitchers, Chris.
No, but he's won 2 Cy
I get
Youngs.
it. I get it now.
Okay. In those 2 years, one of which was here, right?
Yes,
Blake Snell was absolutely unbelievable, right?
Mm-hmm.
2018 with Tampa Bay, he was 21-5 with a 1.89. When he won the Cy Young here, he was 14-9 with a 2.25. Okay? So that's a total of 35-14. The rest of his career, he's 2 games under 500, and his ERA is around 4. So he's been very ordinary at best, except those 2 years where he was unconsciously good.
Yeah.
And he's made millions upon millions of dollars off that. Dodgers are learning what the Giants learned last year, that he's not healthy very often. And, he's pitched 2 games for them this year. So we'll see how it goes for Blake Snell. But I always liked Blake.
Yeah, I like Blake the person.
So I don't mean to, sound mean, but that's often how I come out sounding.
When fans tell me, well, they should have re-signed Blake Snell, I say, no, they shouldn't have, because this is kind of what you get a little bit.
It's possible, but you could also get a Cy Young Award. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Blake Snell to win a 3rd Cy Young somewhere down the road.
I wouldn't either. He's that talented, but sometimes his talents are on the IL. Anyway, wanted to throw that in there, Chris.
You did throw that in there. I'm trying to look.
I was going to say, what stat are you looking for over there?
Well, I'm looking for multiple Cy Young Award winners, but I'm only coming up with guys that have won 3 or more. Here's the ones with 2. Besides Blake Snell: Jacob deGrom, Corey Kluber, Roy Halladay, Tim Lincecum, Johan Santana. Didn't know he won 2. Tom Glavine, Brett Saberhagen, Gaylord Perry, Bob Gibson, Denny McLain.
Who's the one guy on that list, in your opinion, does not belong?
Denny McLain, only because 1968-69, when he won them, he was a 30-game winner one of those years. But the rest of his career, he was nothing. Similar to Blake Snell. So that's who I would say doesn't belong. Johan Santana is a little iffy.
What about Tim Lincecum winning back-to-back?
No, Tim Lincecum was a stud. I don't have a problem
Talk
with
about falling off after you win a couple Cy Youngs.
it. Happens. I promised some sad news.
What is this?
Yeah, it's not what I wanted to be talking about.
I have no idea what you're about to say.
I think people, kind of know what's happened here. Former Hall of Famer Steve McMichael, Chicago Bears stalwart, passed away today at the age of 67. Now, McMichael was a famed part of the famous 1985 Bears defense. He was the centerpiece of it. He was right in the middle of everything. And McMichael was a heroic figure in Chicago. Heroic. And goes on to the Hall of Fame. And he's one of the guys. Now, Singletary is kind of always regarded as the face of that defense. Yeah. But if you ask a Chicago, fan, a Bear fan, they're going to mention McMichael because he was the guy right in the middle of it all. He was one of the strongest individuals of all time. He played in 191 consecutive games.
Back in the 80s?
At defensive tackle.
My goodness.
All right? This guy was incredible. First team All-Pro twice. Always had a bunch of sacks, even though he was a defensive tackle, not an end. And McMichael was incredible and went into the Hall of Fame in 2023. It's very sad because he was stricken with ALS in 2021. And by the time he went into the Hall of Fame, he was physically a shell of his former self. And it was kind of sad. It was not even kind of. It was really sad to see somebody that, tough, that robust, that powerful, going in to the Hall of Fame, being helped onto a stage somewhere by everybody.
It does put things in perspective.
It does. And it gives you an idea of how scary ALS is. I mean, it's Lou Gehrig's disease. Yeah. But, there's no cure that anybody has. Still, Lou Gehrig died from it I think it was in the 30s or the 40s. And no one's come up with a way to, combat it. And if it can take Steve McMichael, you can't take any tougher guy than that. And so anyway, it's been, I think, in the back of minds of some football fans because he's been in the failing health for a long time. He did pass today at the age of 67.
That's really young.
All the best to a lot of Bears fans that I know out there who love Steve McMichael and that Bears defense, which even if you're not a Bears fan, if you saw it, you're around for it, it's probably the best defense you've ever seen. Think the Ray Lewis Ravens, but maybe just a little more attractive to fans. Like the Ravens defense was incredible with Ray Lewis, but they weren't beloved by a nation. The Bears of 85, Super Bowl shuffle. Go back and look all this stuff up. The Bears of 85 were a national treasure at the time. So it was something special. All right. Basketball, Celtics 49, Orlando 43. Late second quarter there.
Hold on. We got to do this real quick.
Oh, there you go. Let's see if McMichael's in here somewhere.
What's his number?
Oh, I thought you might show the video. Don't have that?
I probably should.
You could probably find the video.
Here, you keep talking. I'll put it up
I
there.
think McMichael's in the... God, I don't know what number he is. I'm good on numbers.
Google it.
Well, I don't have time. You're going to come up with it before I... 76. And I didn't Google it. I remembered it. 76.
You remembered it.
I remembered it.
I love when I remember things.
Yeah.
I hate using this video thing, though, sometimes.
I know, but people got to see the Super Bowl
You're
shuffle.
Right.
First, because it was crazy. Second, because it's so nerdy now. It was 1985, people. This is 40 years ago when this thing came out.
Okay, hold on.
All right, see if you can find it. I just want to watch it for old time's sake on YouTube. Here we go.
Remove this one thing.
That's Willie Galt, the speedy receiver. Look at their dancing is pretty pathetic.
Like,
There's
Mike Singletary.
There he is.
Now, was this done during the season or after they won?
No, they did it before they did it well before they won anything.
If a team were to put this out today, they would be made fun of until the end of time.
They put this out right in the middle of the season and then went on and whipped everybody's butt. I mean, that's what the Bears did. That's Maury Buford, the punter, number 8.
He's hitting a cowbell.
Hitting the cowbell, and he's not quite doing it with the style of Will Ferrell.
Who's number 48? Because he's playing the bongos pretty well.
Not sure of who that is. I'm looking for McMichael in there, but I don't see a 76.
This is so funny.
I know Jim McMahon. There's McMahon. McMahon is a big star.
I don't see a 76, though.
I don't see McMichael either, but he might be in there. There's a refrigerator, 72, William Perry.
Yeah, you know when you go and make fun of someone, you just point to the fridge and he'll take care of it for you.
Yeah. Anyway, the 85 Bears lose one of the greats, Steve McMichael today. All right, Chargers and Lions, by the way, chosen today as the combatants in the 2025 Pro Football Hall of Fame game.
I'm officially over that game.
I am too. I get excited for it every year because I really want to see a football game.
Me too.
But the whole thing is just stupid.
Who was it that they forced to play the whole game? Was it Josh Jacobs?
I remember that. Chargers being in the game fitting because Antonio Gates will be enshrined, along with the San Diegan Eric Allen, we should mention.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. When I saw this news, I was like, why the Chargers?
Chargers-Lions Pro Bowl game. We'll take a break. When we come back, we got our Chris's notes on a scorecard. If you haven't heard it, it's fast becoming a very popular segment. It's next.
I actually got in trouble once when I worked at the bank for looking up a celebrity, and it was totally wrong on my part. Totally wrong.
Looking up their account number?
Just I searched their name in the account system. And
Scrappy, what is wrong with you?
I was like 19.
You'd be better off.
You would be
better. You'd be better off admitting that you wore your underwear inside out. Frankly,
This guy is just searching up people's accounts.
It only happened that one time because I got caught.
How did you get caught?
The account was flagged, and anybody taking a look at it gets logged. And so I got called into the boss's office like 3 days later.
What did that come? I'm sorry, I gotta ask, but nobody's supposed to be doing this preview. What did that conversation? How did it go?
Well, why were you looking up Paris Hilton? Is that who it was?
Paris Hilton?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Oh my goodness.
I can neither confirm. That's really funny, Chris, that you just yelled out that name out of all names.
No.
But I walked in, I got called into the office, and I sat down, and all my boss, I loved her. She was great. Her name was Sharon. Amazing boss. She just slid the piece of paper in front of me.
You knew.
Said, "Did you visit this account?" And I looked. Yeah. She was like, "We're gonna have to write you up for this, and if you do it again, we're gonna have to fire you." And I said, "I'll never do it again." And I got out of there as soon as possible. I took everything, but it was not good. Not good.
Just curiosity, huh? He's like, I wonder how much they have in their account.
Yeah. I mean, before I got caught, I did look up athletes. And,
oh my God! I'm so glad you're sitting in this seat now.
Yes, I'm so happy you're not doing any job that can be dangerous to people's futures.
This was in the first year that I was there. I learned my lesson thoroughly.
Chris, as I said, as soon as they walked in, there was like,
yeah,
that's our guy right there.
That's our window.
We're gonna take him down.
Yep.
Just lucky I didn't get caught for like. I can't even say. I'll tell you guys off break whose account I saw and how much money they had sitting in their checking account.
And this was how long ago, too, by the way?
2009, 10. Way before I became a good person.
Didn't Bank America end up getting in trouble? Or was that it was one of those banks got in trouble?
All of them get in trouble for selling information. But
I heard folks like you.
I wasn't selling any information. I was just wanting to see what was going on.
Curious.
I didn't check their account activity, which I could have. Been like, oh, they bought this here. I'm going to go up there. You know, I'm not that creepy.
Well, that's stock.
Oh, yeah, you're not that bad.
I'm not that creepy.
This is amazing, by the way. We're supposed to be doing.
How are we supposed to do baseball picks under these
I don't think we can
circumstances?
anymore. I think we gotta push it. You guys never did it? Well, I mean,
no, Scrape. We didn't. We didn't do it.
Really? Okay. Like you work at a bank, you're looking at people's account information?
That's
unbelievable.
It only happened for a little bit, and then I got in
Only
trouble.
for a little bit.
I can't stop laughing at this because it is quite hilarious, Scrape.
But you were saying that I may have gotten robbed or whatever. I actually did get robbed when I worked in San Francisco, and they're called quick change artists.
How long did you work in the banking industry?
8 years. I was a teller supervisor when I finished. I was also the merchant teller, which took in around $150,000 in cash a day. Guess what? Always balanced at the end of the day.
Yeah, I bet.
But there was a guy who walked in. He had about $5,000 in hundreds, and he handed it to me. He said, "Can I get 50s for these?" And I said, it's pretty annoying that he wants
$5,000 in
hundreds, and he wanted $5,000 in 50s. He just wanted 50s instead of hundreds. So I had to go get it from the vault. I come back. I'm starting to count it out, and then he's like starting to ask me questions as I'm counting it out.
He's trying to
what
did I tell you, Chris? This is what I'm talking about.
That window right there.
Hey, this guy was so good that no one saw it coming. But so when I started getting mad at him because I counted out the 50s, he goes, "What are you doing? I asked for 20s." And I'm like, "What? You did not ask for 20s. You asked for 50s, bro." Yeah. I had to go to the vault to get those 50s. And as I was getting all mad and talking to my boss, he took the cash off the counter and put it into this folder that he had on the thing that
the original 5,000 in hundreds.
Yeah, well, he kept going like that, and then I was so mad, I just grabbed it and I threw it in my drawer. And then he was like, "You know what? I'm out of here." And he walked out. And then at the end of the day, $3,000.
He got an extra 3 on you.
$3,000. Yeah, he got $3,000.
The thing about criminals like that, they can sniff out a mark really easy.
I'm not a mark.
You are 1,000%.
I was actually the bank's
dog. They got you for 3 extra.
And that's the only time in my 8 years that I ever had anything happen like that.
I'm sure there are people who've been there 8 years that never had 0 taken.
Scrape, I got a 20 here. Can I get 5 5s, please?
I hate you guys.
Let's get to
that was one of the worst moments of my life, but you know what? It taught me a lot. Never trust anyone ever again.
You know what? You definitely have learned because you don't trust very many people.
I don't trust anyone anymore. I actually got in trouble once when I worked at the bank for looking up a celebrity, and it was totally wrong on my part. Totally wrong.
Looking up their account number?
Just I searched their name in the account system. And
Scrapey, what is wrong with you?
I was like 19.
You'd be better off. You'd be better off admitting that you wore your underwear inside out. Frankly,
this guy is just searching up people's accounts.
It only happened that one time because I got caught.
How did you get caught?
The account was flagged, and anybody taking a look at it gets logged. And so I got called into the boss's office like 3 days later.
What did that come? I'm sorry, I gotta ask, but nobody's supposed to be doing this preview. What did that conversation? How did it go?
Well, why were you looking up Paris Hilton? Is that who it was?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Oh my!
I can neither confirm. That's really funny, Chris, that you just yelled out that name out of all names. No, but I walked in. I got called into the office, and I sat down. And all my boss. I loved her. She was great. Her name was Sharon. Amazing boss. She just slid the piece of paper in front of me.
You knew it.
This will be a big segment for the Windy City fans out there. Cubs have just taken a 3-2 lead over the Dodgers. PCA. Pete Crow Armstrong.
Never heard of him, Chris.
I know you haven't. You don't like him, but he's got his 5th home run of the year, a 3-run shot to put the Cubs ahead in the 4th inning, 3-2. Speaking of 3-run homers, there's only one team in the majors that doesn't have one yet this year. It's the same team that lost to the Tigers 6-0 today in Detroit. I mean, it's kind of weird.
It is weird.
Like we're almost 5 weeks into the season. No 3-run homers or grand slams for that matter. The Padres have hit 24 home runs this year. 18 solo and 6 2-run homers.
Is there part of it has to do with the fact that they're got guys from AAA playing, and so
they may have something to do with it. I think it's just bad luck, honestly. I mean, you get guys on. The Padres have enough guys on base.
Yeah.
They just haven't hit any home runs when all those guys are on base. The problem is if you're not hitting 3-run home runs, you better be hitting with runners in scoring position because you're not going to be getting those crooked numbers on one swing. And on the road trip just completed, the Padres went 6 for 41 runners in scoring position. So you combine that without any, big crooked number home runs, tough to score runs. Also, when you include the fact that you're playing with.
I don't know that Mason
not your
McCoy was predicted to hit 10 home runs this year.
No, he's not, but I can't rip Mason McCoy, man. He practically
I'm not ripping him.
No, he practically won that game yesterday with some great defense. So I'm on the Mason McCoy thing right now. But the Padres just have too many guys out of the lineup. All right, finishing up with the Chicago thing. We just did played the Super Bowl shuffle from 1985. I had to look up some of the history of it, and it's even more crazy than I thought. The Bears that year would go on to win the Super Bowl, and they won it in dominating fashion. They beat the Patriots, I think, 46-10. It was one of the biggest annihilations in Super Bowl history. The Bears were that good. They had shutouts in each of their first 2 playoff games that year. Playoff games, both of them were shutouts. Their defense was insane. They started the season 12-0. And everybody thought they were going to become the second team ever to go undefeated and join the 72 Dolphins because the Bears were just crushing people. Well, it so happened in week 13 that year on a Monday night, they played the Dolphins. Don Shula, always thinking, went out and drummed up Larry Zonka, Bob Greasy, Paul Warfield, and all the members of the 72 Dolphins. And like living ghosts, they stood on the sidelines during the game and watched as the Dolphins protected their undefeated history.
That's not nerve-wracking or anything.
Yeah, but the Dolphins won. They beat the Bears and ended the unbeaten season. Bears would not lose again and then win the Super Bowl. Here's the funny thing about the Super Bowl shuffle, which even Super Bowl shuffle fans may not know. They taped the Super Bowl shuffle the next morning back in Chicago, the morning after they lost their only game of the year.
Oh, I'm sure they were in great moods. They look like they were in great moods. They're great actors.
Not only were they in great moods, but as you said, Scraby, the audacity to film that with 3 weeks left in the regular season. Basically calling yourself Super Bowl champions before you even play the last month of the season.
You are providing bulletin board material.
It didn't matter. They just crushed everybody in their path. Jim McMahon, the quarterback, and Walter Payton, the all-time classic running back, thought it wasn't right to release the song and video until the season was over. So they did not participate, but they both felt bad about missing it. So they filmed parts week later that were edited into it.
And I can see the edit now that I see it.
Yes, right. They were edited in. Bears defensive end Dan Hampton, another superstar player on that team, agreed with you and thought it was way too arrogant, and he refused to participate.
Good for Dan Hampton.
Good for Dan. We bring all this up in the passing of Steve McMichael today, who was not actually a part of the Super Bowl shuffle video. Almost every other member of the Bears was. It's pretty crazy, Scrape. You're right. To compare it to now,
there's zero chance you're going to get an NFL football team to show up and film a music video the day after a Monday Night Football game. Not going to happen.
Even if they thought that they were that good and they thought that they could run the table and they were arrogant enough to think that they were that great, how would you ever get all these millionaires this day and age to go sit in a sound studio and film a video? They wouldn't do it.
It wouldn't happen.
That's right. They wouldn't do it. So cheers to maybe a simpler time, a simpler age, when all these future Hall of Fame players showed up and recorded that Super Bowl shuffle thing.
Oh, by the way, we should say that Notes on a Scorecard has been moved to 540.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
But I think the whole thing with the guys standing on the sideline, it was so much more fun back in the day. You could do stuff like that and it would be something. Now it's like, how offended are these players that there's someone on the sideline watching them play?
Yeah. Larry Zonka was staring into the mind of Walter Payton and forcing him to have an off game. Actually, what happened was Marino just had one of his games and he was able to overcome the Bears. But He was the only one that was able to do it that year. I mentioned Cubs on top 3-2. I mentioned Boston at the half leads Orlando. It's 50-47. It's close.
Okay.
Celtics are playing without Jason Tatum, so that is a factor in that game. Cleveland is home to Miami, game 2, and Cleveland's running away with that now in the second quarter, 50-34. Cleveland leads by 16. Warriors and Rockets later on. Couple of other baseball notes today. The Mets, we already told you they beat the Phillies to take over the best record in baseball at 18-7. They're also looking like they might get some more help. The injured Jeff McNeil and catcher Francisco Alvarez are due back now this weekend for the Mets. And, you know, you brought it up earlier, but the Mets are doing this all the while. Juan Soto really isn't contributing a whole lot, at least for his standards.
So, I'm a morbid human being, and I've been looking into sports radio over there in New York about Juan Soto. They're losing their minds already.
Good.
I mean, he was a Yankee last year, but he was pretty good last year.
He was dominant last year. He was third in the MVP balloting.
Yeah, and this year, you know, he's going to be fine. He'll be okay. He's going to hit his 30 home runs. He's probably going to hit around 300. That's just what Juan Soto does. But it's not it must be really hard, and I'm being genuine, Chris. It must be really hard to try and live up to something like a $750 million contract.
I think only certain people can even sign a contract like that and be able to breathe, you know, after you do it. Because you're right, the pressure just going to land on you. Soto's hitting 233 right now. He's only walked 19 times, which for him isn't really that many, and he has 16 Ks.
How many homers?
3. His OPS is 753, which is very pedestrian.
That is so average for Juan Soto.
Very pedestrian for a guy that has a career OPS, you know, probably up around 900.
He's got to.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Soto, struggling, but the Mets not struggling. So they are winning. They won today, and they are getting some help.
The Mets annoy me.
Why?
Yeah,
you have against the Mets? You don't like anybody.
They're so arrogant.
Who's what? Oh,
no. Francisco Lindor is definitely arrogant.
I have never seen a guy celebrate less on a home run than Francisco Lindor did when he single-handedly pushed the Mets past the Phillies into the NLCS last year with I don't know if it was a walk-off home run, but it was a game-winning home run. Tried it around the bases like he'd been doing it all his life. I don't call Francisco Lindor arrogant at all.
Well, I think it's also because he wanted $1 million more than Fernando in his contract, so he could be the highest-paid shortstop of all time.
Oh, that bothers you. That will get somebody on your bad side.
Yeah,
that's true. If you demand something, Scraby's not going to like you. Teoscar Hernandez has just given the Dodgers the lead back with a 2-run homer. It is now 5-3 LA in the top of the 5th, and away we go again at Wrigley Field. It looks like it's going to be another wild night at Wrigley. Right?
Yes.
All right, let's take a break. Notes on a scorecard. Going to break down a 6-0 loss to the Tigers when we return.
Ben and Woods.
And now, the challenger, representing the San Diego Padres, number 20, Kyle Glaser. He ends the round with 7 home runs. And he has earned a trip to the semifinal matchup. Now the challenger is a semifinal matchup. Number 20, Kyle Glaser. No doubt about that one. And it's gone. That one carried on to Lanson. That one is gone. He now has bonus time. Just 1 minute remaining. No question about that one. And tapped it up to put up in the championship matchup. And that ends the round. Finishes. Let's see what he can do. And now, the challenger in this championship round, Kyle Glaser. That one carried on to Lanson. That one is gone. And he's earned 30 seconds of bonus time. Just 1 minute remaining. That's gone off the right pole. There's a home run. Seconds left. And now, the challenger, representing the San Diego Padres, number 20, Kyle Glaser. Just 1 minute remaining. 4 in a row now. It's out of here. That one up into the monster seat. Another home run. And that ends the round. He ends the round with 7 home runs. And he has earned a trip to the semifinal matchup.
Things up here on 97.3 The Fan. Chris Ello, Matt Scraby today. Together in our Odyssey Palace studios. Tony rejoins us tomorrow. He and the Padres are heading back home. They'll begin a homestand Friday night against the Tampa Bay Rays. It'll be the first beer fest of the year, presented by Southwest Airlines. So you can enjoy $5 craft beers, live music Friday. Saturday night, post-game fireworks show coming up, presented by SeatGeek.
I went last year to the fireworks show. It was actually really awesome.
It'll be Saturday night. And then next Tuesday, when the Giants come in, the Gigantes are coming in, Tony Gwynn rookie bobblehead night. First 40,000 in attendance. I think people are going to want to be battling for those. Like the people that are the 41st thousand into the ballpark are going to be, a little upset.
Before where they said first 40,000, it was always like, I can go whenever and I'll get one.
Yeah.
Now
you can't do that. Yeah,
they're getting 40,000 a night.
Yeah. Next Tuesday, you may want to call in sick to work so that you
just
make
stand
sure
in line.
So you make sure you're on time for that game. The Gigantes coming to town. All right. We have some notes on a scorecard coming up. Our friend Kirk Kenny said I should mention to everybody out there what a scorecard is. I think that's kind of funny, but do I need to? I mean, does anybody keep score anymore at the ball game? Not really. Like one,
no,
you might
I
see like
it.
3 people in the whole crowd.
I see people doing it, and I especially love it when I see a younger person doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. But here are my notes on a scorecard, or actually phrased correctly. These are my notes on my wife's grocery shopping list, and they're coming up after traffic.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
I got to tell you, I'm not impressed with people's driving habits this afternoon. Come on, there are way too many crashes here, guys. Got one blocking the slow lane, East 52 near Regents Road. Also an accident on the Sports Arena Boulevard on-ramp to East 8 and westbound 8, right at the southbound 125 connector. Collision over to the right shoulder. Going to find a crash on the Main Street off-ramp, northbound 805. And Rail Drive on-ramp to westbound 54, a crash. Now let's talk North County a little bit. Accident on the Miramar Road on-ramp to southbound 805. On the northbound 15, just before Rainbow Valley, there is a collision involving a couple vehicles at the fast lane block and South 5 coastline past Oceanside Boulevard. Accident over to the right shoulder. Did I miss anybody? I hope not. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends June 14th. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Very good. And away we go with today's notes on a scorecard. We do it after every day game for the Padres, because I always get to take in the game before I come into work. So
people do enjoy this.
I like it. I like doing it. My wife actually had to go out and buy a new packet of grocery.
Oh, there's no more gingerbread man.
No, now it's an apples on the top.
Oh,
sorry, we ran out of the.
We needed the
ran out of the gingerbread man, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay,
here we go. And by the way, I mentioned earlier there's going to be a fight between Scrabe and I during the.
I still have no idea what this is.
Well, it's going to happen right away, because the first note of the day is that Fernando Tatis Jr. made a rockhead base running play in the top of the first inning.
Calling him a rockhead, huh?
On that, I'm, we've talked about it. I love aggressive baseball, and I don't mind if you're thrown out, but I don't like it when it's stupid to risk it. And trying to steal third base with 2 outs and Xander Bogaerts, or anyone at the plate for that matter, is just not good strategy. There's not enough to gain, and there's too much to lose. And he got thrown out, and the inning was over. Xander did not get a chance to give the Padres a 1-0 lead. And the reason we're going to fight is because Scraby told me he liked it.
Well,
he thought it was good and aggressive, and he was into it. And I'm just trying to teach you, Scrabe. I want you to be a baseball savant, and you're never going to be if you think plays like this are smart.
Here's the thing. First, I took a beating on the internet for this, Chris.
Oh, did you?
I took a beating on the internet.
Okay.
Like it was one of those tweets where immediately, as soon as I said it, all the negative stuff was rolling in, and I knew it's over for me.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. The internet first says that Fernando tried to steal third because he didn't have any faith in Xander to get him to advance him on the bases. So that's why he did that. It's a joke. Ha, ha, ha.
But it's not a joke, because even if he gets to third, he still needs Xander to advance him in order to score. That's why this was a dumb move in the first place. But go ahead.
All right, I'm willing to say it's a dumb move. But here's the thing I was thinking at the time that he did it.
Okay.
First inning of the 25th game of the year. Plenty of time left in the game. Plenty of time left in the season. If Fernando sees an opening, and I understand it's the cardinal sin, you're not supposed to ever make the last out at third base. Ever.
It's true.
But Fernando's the best player on this team. He's stolen a bunch of bases this year. If he sees a little daylight and wants to try and take advantage of it, I'm fine with him doing that in the first inning of the 25th game of the year.
Yeah.
If this was later in the year and there was something at stake or later in the game, I'm not as accepting of it, but I'm fine with Fernando taking a chance. If we're going, this is what I tweeted. If we're going to be good with aggressive base running when it works, we have to be good with aggressive base running when it doesn't.
And I
work.
agree 1,000%. And guys are going to get thrown out. Just don't get thrown out trying something dumb that's risky and no reason to do it. And that's what Fernando did. The craziness continues at Wrigley. Dansby Swanson 2-run double, 5-5 now in the 5th inning.
But I just don't like it when people tell me I'm wrong. I'm not fighting you that it's a maybe out there opinion and maybe not the opinion that people have. But Fernando has done some things that we didn't think were possible on a baseball field.
True that.
And he barely got tagged.
As a rockhead move. Sorry. There's no way around it. You keep trying, you're not going to get me. So instead of the Padres getting a chance, the Tigers took a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first. Gleyber Torres, the only thing Kyle Hart did not do on that fastball is serve the ball on a actual platter. Like walk it down there with the platter.
Like a big platinum platter.
Yeah. I like Kyle Hart's game today. He battled through some stuff and, stuck it out. But you can't make those pitches to big league hitters. I'm sure he knows it.
Yeah.
Maybe in the Korean League, hit a long fly ball, but not in the big leagues. They're going to hit it out of the park every time. He grooved 2 to Cam Smith Friday night. He grooved 2 today. This was the first. They gave the Tigers the
Is this his 4th start today?
4th or 5th. I think it's 5th because it's 25th game, right? They've all started 5.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Where would you grade him so far?
C. Which is okay. He's the 5th starter. I don't expect much higher. Now, the inning almost got completely away from him, though. After the home run, the Tigers loaded the bases with 1 out. And here came the whisperer. Ruben Niebla comes trotting out. I don't know what he said, Scrabe. Nobody knows what he said.
Throw strikes.
But we know what happened afterwards. He struck out the next 2 hitters and got out of the inning.
He did.
Ruben Niebla is the magic man. It's incredible. He comes out there and whoever the pitcher is turns into, Cy Young. Fantastic.
It's really incredible how he does that. And even Mud said that on the TV. I'm like, Mud, are you listening to this show?
He does it every time he goes out there. Jose Iglesias made a beautiful catch on a pop-up. Did you see it? Little short right field.
Did he do that on purpose?
I don't know. Gonzalez came in from right. Jose was running around. He didn't even reach for the ball. He put his glove next to his waist and just caught it like it was the most nonchalant thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it feels like he got really lucky with it falling into his glove.
Maybe he did, but it sure looked good. The very next batter hit the famous pop-up to the pitcher. Kyle Hart came off the mound. He was right there. But they're not allowed to catch a pop-up. We've already talked about this. And here comes Gavin Sheets huffing and puffing in for first base to make a running catch on a play that Kyle Hart could have had so easily.
They don't want them doing that.
It's just one of those things in baseball I'll never understand.
Yeah, that is weird.
It is.
It's not like, is Gavin Sheets that much better at defense than Kyle Hart?
Okay, Manny isn't even better in that situation.
Because you're running in.
Because he's running in. The pitcher is standing there waiting for the pop-up to come into his glove. And here comes, they can't catch it, so the first baseman has to run in. All right, both teams coming into the game had done really well, apparently, in pitching with runners in scoring position. Padres only allowed 32 hits all year, fewest in the majors. But second was Detroit with 34. And that would come into play in this game because both teams would have trouble getting hits with runners in scoring position. Later, another platter breaking ball served up by Kyle Hart. Malloy homers to make it 2-0 Detroit. Again, that box that's on the screen for the strike zone, the ball cannot be in the middle of it unless you're Robert Suarez or Nolan Ryan and you're throwing 103 miles an hour. Otherwise, they will hit it out of the ballpark. And Kyle Hart's going to have to figure that out if he's going to hang in there. Manny Machado had an error in the game.
His defense has not been as sharp this year.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's true, though.
I knew you were going to say that. Here's the rub with your complaint about that error. Very few third basemen in the league would even have caught into the ball in the first place. It would have been a single to left field for most players.
I also think Gavin Sheets
It was a hard pick. He could have, but it was an in between. It was a tough. I'm not going to blame him. Those are do or dies. But Machado gets an error only, in my mind, he gets an error because he's so good. Every other third baseman would have watched that ball roll into left field.
Okay.
Manny dives, grabs it, throw bounced.
I would say in this instance, yeah, you're right. It wasn't a bad defensive play.
All right, in the seventh inning, or the bottom of the sixth or seventh, Tigers expanded their lead to 3-0. It happened with a runner on first base, and the batter, who I believe was Baez, batting ninth. I got to look it up, Scrape. I hate to be wrong on something like this, because if I am, you know that people are going to
and I'll be leading the charge.
Right. They'll be right on there that I'm the
I'll be like, everybody hop on.
Bear
Let's go.
Misinformation. I know Sweeney was at first base. That much I do know. And it was Malloy again. Malloy lines one down the line, the right field line. Okay. Oscar Gonzalez hustles over there. Remember, Fernando's getting the day off.
Yep.
In the outfield. Fernando plays as DH. But Gonzalez goes over there and he slips up a little bit. And that threw the whole play off. And I'll tell you why. Because Iglesias went out to cut the throw to third base, expecting there to be a play or no play at third base. But when Gonzalez slipped and fell, by the time he got up, the runner was now trying to score. Gonzalez did what he thought was right by throwing it to the cutoff man. The problem was now Iglesias was in the wrong position. He caught the ball as if it was going toward third base, then had to quickly turn and throw home. And Sweeney slid in with the third run. That would not have happened had Gonzalez somehow been able to notice that because of his slip, Sweeney was trying to score and made a direct throw down the line and used his first baseman as the cut home. I think they would have got that out. It's a lesson learned. I don't know that it's anyone's fault. Iglesias was only in the wrong place because Gonzalez slipped, and there's no way he could have known that. But do you remember the play? The throw came at an angle, and then Iglesias had to throw back.
Yes.
Because the Sweeney made a good base running play. That was just such as the game was.
It was already out of reach at that point.
3-0, and then later in that inning, Riley Green got the only RISP hit of the day, 2 out off Morejon to make it 4-0. And I was like, bullpen gave up 2 runs? What? Well, they would give up 2 more.
I was going to say, it's not over yet.
Later on, because Yuki gave up a 2-run home run to Dingler. I got to tell you, Dingler needs work on I don't mean to be rude, but I don't ever know any other way to mention this, Scrabe.
What?
The guy's name is Dylan Dingler. If you ever saw that famous movie with Mark Wahlberg,
you can say it.
I don't remember the name
Boogie
of the
Nights.
Boogie Nights, thank you. Dirk Diggler and Dylan Dingler. There's no way to hear one without thinking about the other.
You know what's funny is on the Scravy show,
isn't.
I was going to criticize his parents and say, you missed out on an opportunity to name your kid Dirk Dingler.
You think he should have named him
Just
Dirk?
go all in at that
Go
point.
all in, Dirk Dingler.
Yeah.
I mean, you named him Dylan Dingler. You could have at least gone with Thomas or something to give the guy a little bit of a break.
Joe.
Yeah, something. But there was no way when I don't know how Orsillo and Mudcat and Jesse even kept from laughing when this guy came to the plate yesterday. It's Dylan Dingler. There's the only thing I think of is Mark
Boogie Nights.
Wahlberg
Me too.
in the movie.
Me too.
All right.
The whole time.
6-0. I felt bad for Tirso Ornelas. We mentioned this earlier. He annihilates a ball to center field in the 8th inning, and it goes 410 feet, which is a home run in almost every ballpark except Detroit. Baez, who's only playing his 3rd game ever in center field, catches it.
Yeah.
A great catch, looking like Willie Mays to Rob Ornelas of his first career hit. That was too bad. I want to give Oscar Gonzalez some credit for making the catch later in the game, reached over the fence to Rob Torkelson.
Oh, yes, he did.
That was a nice catch. So let's, we got to be equal here. In the 9th inning, something happened that I'm not sure if it should bother me, but I'm going to bring it up and then you decide yourself.
Okay.
Padres are down 6-0. Pretty much game over. I get it. Fernando's coming up. Fernando has not yet reached base in this game. And for those wondering, he did get on an error in the 1st inning, but that does not count. You have to get on by either hit or walk or hit by pitch. So he had not reached base. That meant his streak of 23 games in a row reaching base was at jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't even get a chance to extend it because Mike Schilt pinch hit for him. Now, part of me says it's good to let everybody play. Gurriel got an at-bat. McCoy got an at-bat. Connor Joe got an at-bat. They all made out. The game was over anyway. But I don't know that to me, and I know it's not an individual game. The team's more important. But you decide out there. You think Fernando should have got a chance to extend to 24? I do. I just think it's, little individual achievements like that are nice in the course of a long team season.
I have to think that Mike Schilt knew that.
I know he knew. He had to know it too, and he had to decide, you know what? I'm just not going to care. His streak's over, and I'm going to bring Gurriel up. Anyway,
I'm not a fan of that either.
I wasn't a fan
6
of it.
runs. I mean, 6 runs a lot.
Yeah,
6 runs in the top of the 9th is a lot, but it could still happen. We've seen teams do that before.
We have. They waved the white flag, and I'm not critical of that. I just don't know that I would have hit for Fernando there. If he didn't have a 23 hit streak or on base streak, then I wouldn't have cared. But he did.
Yeah.
So give him a chance to make it 24. I think that's fair.
I agree with you.
They took it away from him.
I agree with you on this.
All right. I imagine I don't even have to text him. My guy Woodsy will ask him about that tomorrow on the manager's report.
Oh, he's not doing it tomorrow.
Oh, I mean Friday.
Friday, yes. But you could also ask Woodsy tomorrow on the
I can bring it up tomorrow on the round table.
We have to talk about this
if I so choose.
Because I really think I have no idea what Tony would say in this situation.
It's a tough one. It is. Obviously, if it was DiMaggio and you're at 40 hit streak, then it's no brainer. You let him hit.
You have to.
But this is 23. It's an on base streak. It's not even a hitting streak. But I just thought you should have given him the chance.
Dominic has a great
thing.
point, and I'm kind of with Dominic on this. I would bet money Schilt discussed it with Fernando briefly.
I hope so.
I think he's that type of manager. He wants to have communication with his players.
I would agree with that. And we'll probably find that out moving forward. The craziness at Wrigley, 7-6 now, Cubs. Cubs took the lead 7-5. Pajes hit a home run, 7-6. They're in the 6th inning, and back and forth they go in that wild game. Boston by 11 over Orlando in the 3rd. Cleveland by 15 over Miami in the 3rd. Scraby Chronicles next. Don't forget Roundtable. We'll talk to you at 10 tomorrow. Adios.